Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Oh my God, I was gonna say Wednesday, Friday, whatever. I can't even think right now. How you guys doing? Hopefully good. Yeah. Surprise. I was not in the mood of playing games tonight, so I decided we're just gonna do some chill streams here. Hopefully everybody had a good week. Last week I had gone not necessarily MIA. I was just more or less focusing on me and just my health, and you know, you deal with the kids and what the kids are doing, and you try to get them to do what you want them to do, and then you know, and then family stuff. Always, that's what families are all about, is that, you know, we teach each other as much as we can to learn things, and sometimes they don't want to learn, and sometimes they don't want to help around the house, and sometimes you just get frustrated and then you're just like, "Arr!" But you know, I'm good. Other than the fact that I cut my hair today after work. I got done with work, and then over the past few days, my wife was like, "Yeah, your hair is kind of," you know, I was agreeing with her, like that the hair was kind of, it was getting long, but it was getting too long to the point where it wasn't manageable. So I had to cut it off, and it does look, it wasn't looking as healthy as I wanted it to, and I think it was time to get rid of it. I feel like the things that I've gone through over the past few months, not even a few months, it's been more than that, but over almost half a year that I've been, you know, with everything that happened in October, like I still feel like my my hair was healthy before all of that. They say as stress kind of gets to you, you get hair loss, and we've had that conversation before, and I feel like that was the case for me, and my hair started to not. I don't even know. Is it permanent hair loss? I know I'm balding. I know that my hairline is getting way back there. I know it's going to eventually just go all the way. I wish it didn't. But I don't think that's something that I can get rid of or deny and hide. So we decided, let's just chop it all off, let it grow back on its own, and see where it goes. Let it grow and let it kind of grow as a whole. I don't know. We'll see where all that goes. But that's why I did that. So surprise, surprise, I cut my hair. Yes. And we're gonna cover a few things today. I haven't been able to. I've seen the stuff. I've seen the conversations on the internet. Like AMD had released 2 new graphics, or not graphics cards, but CPUs. Let's just double check that. Release CPU. I don't know what they were doing with the release, and I don't know why they released it. Let me just find. Wow, I can't even find the articles for it. Anytime in the past week. It was a quiet release, if I remember correctly. Okay, now I can't even find anything. What the hell? AMD CPU release. They're confirming their next Ryzen CPU series. Where did that just go? Okay, yeah, AMD releases new Ryzen CPUs. Let's go and let's just jump right into that here. Oh, we got an ad break. Ad break. We're gonna have to wait. We'll just wait. We'll wait a little bit. We'll wait for it to finish. For those of you that have this subscription, thank you again. Bolts, thank you for that sub a few weeks ago. Gifted subs to people. Yo, Zap, how's it going? Look at that haircut style. Yeah, I got it cut, man. I got it cut. Sorry, we got ads going on. We got 1 minute left. I'm getting out of my game here, and I'm going to set it up for chat over here. Let's do this. Oh, we're good. It's up. It's up. It says I'm disconnected from chat. So is this the part of the cosplay experience for Helldivers? Just making sure you are military. That's funny. That's funny. No, actually, I'm not gonna be playing. I'm not gonna be playing any games tonight. Are you still? Did you still want to do? Did you still want to do a collaboration for Helldivers on Thursday? Where's my mouse? It's so dark. Oh, there it is. Bring it up. Hold on. Hold on. My chat's coming up. Yes, sir. 8 days till beam. Oh, nice. Forgot. Oh boy, that's small. How do I make this bigger? Is there a way to zoom this in? I didn't want to take a screenshot. Okay. I don't know if there's a way to zoom in on this. That's fine. I can read it quiet. I can read it small. I think I got this. Yo, so how's it going? Happy Tuesday. How was your week last week? How was your week? All your weeks last week? I would hope you'll be among the first of public use. I'm looking at it. I haven't thoroughly looked at it, but I'm looking at it. I mean, I have an LLC. I can put the investment of that as a tax write-off for that. So there we go. Yeah, I was gonna talk about AMD's new processors that released like quietly, I think. Is that what they did? So AMD launches 2 new Ryzen desktop processors based on its current generation Zen 4 microarchitecture, but there's a catch. This was 4 or 5 days ago. I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I wanted to kind of cover things that I haven't done in a while. Just been focusing on just gaming and just relaxing from all that. It was good. Stayed busy. Oh, it's good. Good. Staying busy is always good. I mean, I wanted to stream, but then I wasn't in the mood, you know? You get those moments where you're like, by the way, it's raining outside, so if you hear the rain, which I doubt you will, it's raining. So I had a massive confusion on what day it was today. I wish today was Friday. That's what I wish. No, I was not in the mood to stream last week. I was just out of it. I mean, like Tuesday I was like, okay, cool, we're ready, and then like last minute things, and I was just like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to. And you get in that mood where you're like, I want to entertain, but you're not, your mindset and your mood is just not there. I was in that feeling last week. I had that all week last week. It sucked. I was just like, I wanted to do stuff, and the thing is, like, I wanted to entertain, I wanted to pull viewers, you know, stuff like that, and it's always hard. And I had a meeting with my mentor from AMD, and we were talking, and we're trying to, you know, we're trying to approach to different ways of how to get more people to come and just hang out with us and talk. but he completely understands the situation that I am. Like, not the situation, but my state, my everyday state. That was lightning. Here it is, Tuesday, and I go toss trash and put it to the curb and thought I was gonna watch Masked Singer. It wasn't on until I was like, wait, it's not Wednesday, or I took out the trash. Dang it. Do you have like a trash bin that you throw in there and then you're good, or is it? Do you usually wait? Like, I haven't lived in a house in a while, but then I know like every week there's a certain day that you have to take out the garbage or get the garbage ready before, the garbage man comes by. Garbage man or woman, garbage person, cleanup crew, let's put it that way. Cleanup crew comes by and cleans up. But I was always trying to remember when I was living with my parents, or when I was living at a place that you had to take out your own garbage. And we did that. We lived out in the Michigan Metro Detroit area, and I remember our apartments, we had to go and actually wheel out garbage bins. And I was like, this is it's kind of neat. Here at this apartment, there's a whole giant like dumpster over there you have to go throw out yourself. So sometimes you just need a break. I know. And it was like, and that's where I was like with the conversation with my mentor. I was just telling him, he's like, how are things going? We had goals to kind of build up followers on social media, and I'm a busy guy. You guys know that. You guys know the whole background. You guys know where I stand with just trying to get stuff done, and then just trying to find me time and trying to find time to do other things. And my mentor, he acknowledged that. He understood that, I forgot how he said it exactly, but basically it was along the lines of, you are a full-time father, you work a 40-hour job, you have a family to take care of, and yet you're still trying to get into the streaming biz. You're trying to entertain, you're trying to bring up all these things, and he's like, yeah, he kind of gave me praise that I'm still pushing and trucking through this, even though I'm going nowhere with it. And that's how I personally feel. Like, I feel like I haven't grown to the point. And even just today, this morning, I woke up and I'm just like, I'm not progressing how I want to. I'm not being productive like I would like to be, and I hate that. At the same time, it's nice to be relaxed and just take a break. And I've been stuck. I feel like I've been stuck between relaxing and working, and going back and forth on all that. Like, am I not working hard enough, or am I working too hard, and now I'm just like in this slump and I just don't want to do anything? But I think it's because of everything that's happened, and you guys know everything that's happened. No, we have an assigned trash receptacle that we bring to the curb. Okay, there are areas in Arizona where they have these underground trash bins where you just bring the trash to the curb, open it, toss it in, and close. You mean it's underground? So you kind of just like you reach down like it's kind of like a, not necessarily like a sewer hole, but it's just kind of like a door, and you just like a hatch, and you just chuck it in. Really? It's always interesting to see how different states do stuff, because I've only lived in the Midwest. I've only lived in Wisconsin and Michigan. I've never lived in any other state, and every state is obviously different. They have their own rules and laws and regulations. But to see that, I mean, especially in Arizona, I guess, like, what's the reason behind Arizona? I mean, it kind of makes sense. Kind of like, for instance, like in California, there's no basements because of the earthquakes. That totally makes sense. However, we have basements here, so it's like, you get this over here, you get that over there. I get snow and rain and sunshine, and California in certain places will get snow, but mostly sunshine. It makes sense for some of the areas for multiple reasons. One is heat during the summer. It probably makes it smell, doesn't it? And underground obviously makes sense. It's colder, as long as the cover can prevent the heat from coming in or heating things up. So that's neat. Two, it's to prevent critters from trying to knock the trash and get into it. Okay, that makes sense. Here we just have raccoons running wild and possums. So I don't know how many times I've seen possums on the side of the road dead, and I'm like, there's sometimes where I look at it and go, okay, it might have gotten struck in the side of the road, like, or like, you know, like oncoming traffic. But every time I see an animal on the line, it's like somebody decided to just intentionally run it over, and it's like, why would you do that? 3, for some areas it's to make it easier for the seniors that are tossing the trash out. Oh, okay. And then for them, it's probably like, you know, there's a pedal that you step on. It's got a lever and a pulley, and it kind of, you know, lifts up for them to make things easier for people, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing. But yeah. But going back to the topic, my mentor, he, you know, I told him, I basically told him that I've been doing things, I haven't been motivated to produce content, and that's on me. It's 110% on me, and I feel bad, I feel unproductive, and I want to change that. But at the same time, I think I'm in this slump, you know, and it's going nowhere. But you know, it happens. I've been there before. I can kick myself back out of it. I think it's just a matter of how do you motivate yourself to do it? How do you push your body or your mental state of saying, hey, you know, I know you can do this. Let's get it done. Let's take care of business, you know. As to your discussion about streaming, oh, you should have been discussing with the status that talked about the Chinese streamers issues. Oh, what happened there? Hold on. What's going on with that? I don't think my camera, I don't think this is working, man. Honestly. There's no chat popping up here. Why is chat not popping up? Continue, by the way. Be better to be on chat to discuss. Okay, well, that's fine. You mean like voice chatting back and forth? We can do that too. We can have a moment of conversation through chat, through a voice chat. Okay, that showed up. Why is that? You know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill the app first. Closing it all. That should work. Alright, there's my panel. Went to the waiting room, wasn't sure where you wanted. Alright, let's jump into, yeah, any chat should be good. Let me throw you into the there we go. Alright, let me put on my headphones. We're gonna have a grand conversation. Hey, buddy. What's up? I've seen other I've seen other streamers just throw music up, and I'm like, you know, what the hell? Like, they have more viewers than I do. Why am I being so, you know, dot the I's and cross the T's when everybody else is just playing music left and right? And I'm like, I don't make any really money off of it.
Let's intermingle discuss that.
Let's do it. Let's have that conversation.
Because you know, we can also cross beam into this when talking about this topic.
Yeah.
So actually, I'll tell you, this is an interesting feature on Beam.
What's that?
It's funny you bring up the point about having music. A lot of streamers don't know that they can't just arbitrarily put up any music. Um, so people usually will get like those little copyright uh, like strikes. Well, not necessarily strikes. They get like the copyright claim music that silences portions of their streams.
Yeah, I think I remember that when it first came out, and like the just everybody like getting upset about it and all that.
Yes, but a lot of that is also with an education standpoint that a lot of people haven't understood that just because you play these songs, like playing a Taylor Swift song as just an example.
Oh yes.
It's like if you don't own the rights to the song,
Right.
and
Exactly.
yes, you can make the argument that you're not selling the song, but they're forgetting, especially in the U.S. under the broadcasting rule,
Sure.
you still have to have the broadcasting license to play said song.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you kind of you have to have like the paying kind of like I think I read up on that where like for instance if you own a bar you want to play music you have to have the license in order to play that music.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's why like it is an education standpoint, but like that's neither here nor there. That's a long time ago story that like people's like if you still don't get it now, like you're just not gonna get it.
Right. Right.
So that's why you have like all these alternative methods,
Mhm.
Cat, 99 Lives, Pretzel, etc., that offer the ways that you can either play effectively royalty-free music, where
Sure.
you're not held liable on the licenses. All they're asking is that you register yourself, not to have as like the information about your stream, but to have as a like a legal precedence if someone does attempt to copyright claim. They say nope, here you go. They have the permission.
Sure. Sure.
Um, yeah, so like that's what their whole point is. Now you could have someone like me, for instance, and I have done this before, where I could have Pretzel playing for the streamer,
Uh-huh.
for the audience that is. But for me, I might be playing some other music instead, which can get a little bit awkward if you start bopping your head and stuff onto something that doesn't make sense to bop your head to in that kind of rhythm. But that's besides the point. Like,
So, for example, so would you
go
be
ahead.
playing the royalty free for the viewers and then play whatever you would be playing that's that you probably get copyright infringed on then to yourself then?
Correct.
Okay. That's what
But
I
you
get.
see, as long as it's not going out to the audience, there's nothing to copyright against.
I see.
Now it gets a little bit more challenging when you get to video games that have it, especially the ones where like and more notoriously found in racing games where like oh yeah we include like full licensed music. That's why
Yes.
you can praise things like Forza or a few other racing games where they include a streamer mode so that those music don't play.
Yep, yep. And I know when I was streaming on AMD, they would say be careful with all that because it was obviously on AMD's channel.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And that puts it at a secondary point because then you have like, well, as in this case, as you experience when you're streaming for AMD, just like when I'm streaming for G Tribe,
Right.
like there are also that secondary rule. I
Mhm.
had already asked about it with Pretzel, where I asked, hey, I have a paid.
Hey Terry, how's it going?
Sometimes I stream.
Yeah, I'm actually streaming.
To
Yeah, right.
another channel. That channel doesn't have any kind of license for like subscription for using this service. Is it
Sure.
fine when I'm using it? And they say so this
We're
is
just
what
having
you
a
do.
conversation with music,
You
Terry.
obviously you can't have the chat controlled for that community stream for the bot to come in and be registered that like, hey, I'm streaming. But what you can do is the secondary part of our rules of it has to be shown somewhere for the authors of the artist's music
Oh,
and
sure.
the title. So I have
Oh,
it scrolling up on the top whenever the music is playing. And of course, from time to time in the middle of the stream, I will also point out that it's brought to you by, Pretzel, whatever. Um,
yes. I think I
so
actually.
that's what covers that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Now it gets a little bit different for you with AMD because technically AMD itself is more of a company, so that's kind of a they should, but like so is G Tribe, but AMD's bigger for obvious reasons. So that gets like little, personal extra touch that I have no idea how that's supposed to handle.
Right.
So when we get into the Beam side of things, did you know that we now have a well, they're still trying their best to do that, but a 24/7 music stream now?
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So kind of like what Monster Cat used to do on Twitch.
Yep. It's a Romanian music station.
Ooh, interesting. How you doing, Terry? I'm trying to like go in between two things here. Don't worry.
Music and nice alternative style music as well.
Oh, okay.
No, Terry, I am not tech support. Don't do that to me. I know my background job. Don't do that to me.
Keep talking. I'll be right back. I got my headphones on, but then I can still hear you.
Yeah, okay. So the station is called Vibe FM. They're Romanian styled music station. So obviously they have the license to play in a broadcast sets. They decided they wanted to go ahead and try to be up on Beam first for the music, but they even explicitly state on the descriptions and stuff that you don't have permission to rebroadcast the said music. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna try to follow the secondary method of like Monster Cats style where you just happen to have the stream on and just play whatever the music as long as you have the bot that's there that's also putting
the music up or whatever titles are playing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You don't have that. It's alternative because in this case they have the broadcasting rights, so naturally it makes sense why you can't restream it.
Oh, I see.
This way. But here's what Beam devs have decided to do. Because there is also this issue. Sometimes for some audience members, the music isn't exactly up to their kind of taste.
Sure. Some explicit words and whatnot.
Yeah. So why not give the power for the audience members to decide what music is playing?
Sure. Makes sense.
So there's a add-on in the bottom left of the site that is
So not out of the woods with the sciatica, but happy to be able to get 6 to 7 hours of night's sleep finally. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Terry. I'm sorry that you're still dealing with that problem.
What it is that if any stream is running under music mode or radio mode for the stream, or even podcast mode, you can have that play as an audio-only stream while you're watching a different stream.
Okay.
As the audience. this solves one major element for a lot of streamers. Because, oh, if they're putting it up and they don't have the music on there, but the audience has the music on, then it's not a bother because there's no copyright breaking. There's no, none of those complications of like, oh, well, I would like to hear this versus, what the audience hears.
Right.
So instantly you solve the music side of things.
Huh.
For having this. You still need to have a little bit more versatility, but the station called Vibe FM is going to be the first ones that are on their launching.
Okay.
With the launch of music, so everybody will have access to hearing that as soon as it comes on.
Gotcha.
But here's the other good news for everybody that is the streamer variant when they're doing these music streams, the radio streams, the podcasting streams.
Yeah.
Anybody that is listening to them counts as a, quote, viewer of sorts towards the streamer.
Okay.
So you have the radio station playing while watching, let's say, you on Meme. Well, that audience member counts as a viewer for you and a listener for the other stream.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Solves that problem outright, like eliminates the issue for what the streamer should stream, etc., etc. For music. So with that, we get into the topic of what happened with the Chinese streamers, and this actually came up on G Tribe. It was actually a fairly interesting topic to discuss because it really comes down to what you were just talking about, which was the motivation element, why you stream,
Right.
effectively. And this was posted by, I'm going to go by his online name, Cyber Squad, who was posting a video about a reaction from Asmongold about 15 million Chinese streamers are struggling.
Okay.
And what a lot of that problem is that it's basically the same issues that's discovered here in not just here, but everywhere else in the world, but primarily in America right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there's a lot of people that would love to just stream. They want to effectively make it big because there's money to be had as a streamer. But then it starts getting to the point that there's more and more and more and more people that want to stream, less and less for the jobs for everything else. And when you combine all the people that would be putting money in towards these streamers, the pie is getting less and less and less.
Right, you're right. As people continue to start streaming or more people come in, I mean, it's so saturated that you're not going to be, just imagine if you had, 10 streamers and you have 500 viewers, it's going to split out evenly with that. But as more streamers come, the viewership is, there's only so many people watching streams.
Right. So one of the main problems is that over in China, though, is when you look at it from a streaming perspective, and this is where it gets similar to us. You're at this point, let's just say you're 13, 14. You're seeing
Other 13, 14-year-old people getting popular on social media.
No.
Oh, okay.
The rise of, let's just go with the rise of Ninja.
Oh, sure.
That era point.
That one stream that got everybody all hyped up, and
you see your favorite like basketball star, your favorite football player, appearing as well, um, in this stream, and then like other streams outside of it, still like giving random giveaways, doing lots of talks.
I mean, it's basically the what's his name? I Show Speed, or he's a streamer. He was just on WWE wrestling.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, like that.
Yes, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a difference.
It is, but it's the whole fact that like as a streamer you're collaborating with these companies now, these big brand names, and you're now on like television.
Yes. Now you're coming up of like, here I am, this tournament level player. What's my hardware of choice? Samsung.
Right.
Okay. Well, now you put that into equation. You've barely watched this guy through the full year of your life at this point. But like, you're approaching 15 and you're like, gee, I think I can do that. It doesn't seem that hard. Oh, sure. If you look at it from the bare facts, it's like, what would you rather do? Would you like to have a 9-to-5 job?
Right.
8-to-5 job these days. To like working, say, Target or some kind of blue collar workforce, to earn, up to 35,000 a year? Or would you take the more short-term, instantaneous gratitude of money of like 100,000 in a month?
See,
well,
the thing,
naturally, they're gonna go for that.
no, it totally makes sense. The only that's something that makes me wonder too is like as my kids are getting older, like I'm thinking in my head, like, what do they want to do? Like, are they looking at, I want to be a streamer, so I'm going to try doing this because my dad's doing this, but then, at the same time I could tell them, hey, I'm actually working a real job but also doing this on the side. That's the difference.
Yes.
Like, I'm not just solely putting my heart and soul into just streaming and thinking that that's what's going to make me money.
Of course. Now, let's like take that portion and discuss that further. So, I had to bring up a perfectly valid point about this. We have to look at it from before Ninja's claim to fame. From somewhat during yet prior from Ice Poseidon. You have to like look at it from that era point.
I'm not familiar with Ice Poseidon.
Ice Poseidon was long ago, like 2013 to 2016.
Okay.
One of his more infamous moments is the whole getting kicked out of TwitchCon because of streaming in the bathroom.
Oh, and then he bumped into Dr. Disrespect at the time, wasn't that? Or is this is completely different?
That's a later one.
That's okay. God damn, there's so many of them.
Ice Poseidon has been involved in a lot of things. Yes.
Oh gosh. All right.
Yeah. So like, there's a timeline here. Like I'm saying, like, I'm not the end all be all of knowledge of all the things from Twitch.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm gonna state that like ahead of time here. I just happen to know a lot.
I just
let me tell you. Well, like, here's an interesting take about this. I happened to witness when Ice Poseidon almost caused a streamer to get banned.
Oh,
live.
Really?
Yeah. Like, that's how tight knit it was in the Twitch days of old.
Oof.
From that standpoint. So you have to understand that Twitch today is nothing like what Twitch was in that, up through 2017 era.
So you're saying it was, you mean like it was like I don't remember how Justin TV was, but was that kind of like still the same situation with just like pre-early
Twitch
Twitch?
derives from Justin TV.
Right. So you had Justin TV as what it was, and then Twitch they got rebranded as Twitch, and then they started moving in a direction of where we are today. So
Well, then
when
Twitch also got bought by Amazon. You have
right,
to, remember that part.
yeah,
To it. Well, Justin TV was the one that got another company before it, and then Justin TV and
I have the
another
wrong
company
tool to
kind
fix
of
this Joy-Con.
merged together
Oops.
as well. And
I don't even have
when
this
they
tool.
decided to make it Twitch TV. So they had to do that whole converting over. Technically, if you look at like my profile actually comes from the Justin TV era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually, my profile is actually an original in that in that era.
Dang, you've been around.
I'm old for internet era.
I mean, like, but if you look at internet era, if you look at that category, you actually consider yourself like old. I mean, on the internet, things that are like, not even 5 years old is considered old.
Yes. I feel like there's a little bit more to it, because you could also make those arguments with someone like unce on YouTube and Twitch.
I suppose,
But-
yeah.
But but we also know he is old.
Yeah.
And he admits it. He doesn't deny that.
Yes, and God bless his soul for whatever he's dealing with right now too.
Yeah, that screw cancer, because I would like to keep it rated G for your audience.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We've sworn
I'm
here
also-
before. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know, but you know how I am. Like, me cursing is just like rare, but I don't know. I just switch on that mode when streaming. Like, I avoid that as much as I can.
No, yeah, I know. I the whole AMD vibe there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the era of Twitch back then, to fully comprehend and understand this, is that not many people knew how to let me use the term successfully stream, in the method of being able to stream, not necessarily the success of the money and fame for it.
Oh, sure. Just you mean
yeah,
like equipment and
Right. Streaming was a very resource intensive equipment back then. One of the StarCraft tournaments that was more local ended up being in my college during a LAN party, and that was its own dedicated stream. It was its own computer that had it. The computer was like $6,000, which seems like, holy cow, that's insane.
Right.
Yeah, it is. But not everybody could just actually afford to have 16 gigs of memory, especially of DDR3 memory.
yeah.
Back then, like, the idea is of 16 gigs, a motherboard that also supports 16 gigs, like, oh wow, what? Today you think, oh yeah, but motherboards can handle 256 gigs on consumer level. Yes, that's true. But different era back then.
Right.
The hardware really came up quick with the streaming era that's come through.
It's actually crazy that I honestly would say that streaming has actually caused the technology to advance so much faster than it would have.
Absolutely did. Like 2012. Try to think back then.
Oh God.
What if I told you that, like, I came up to you and said, you know what? we're still in these early days of this smartphone, but what if I told you that you will be able to stream what's on your camera out in public online
Right.
to an audience, any audience, doesn't have to be part of a broadcaster. You're just it's audience, they come, they watch it.
Yep.
Maybe start off with your friends and then all these random strangers. I tell you that you probably laugh thinking that's just impossible at that particular time period.
Mm-hmm. And here we are 10 years
Now,
later.
yeah, with trying to convert full-blown 4K quality cameras on our phones into 1080p screens. it, I hate to say it, but if you're trying to simplify it, it's magic,
Mm-hmm.
practically,
Mm-hmm.
that we're able to do that. If you really look at it from the simplification process, it's magic. So in that old days of Twitch, you had a lot of known people. But when I'm saying known people, uh, I'll say it, you probably wouldn't even never know. And by the way,
Boy,
was
that
thunder?
rumble. Yeah, that was thunder. I was like, okay, maybe you guys might hear that. that was
Well, if I heard
thunder.
it, then they did. But no, like, okay, in that old ways name, official Joycon, you would have, you probably don't even know that one.
No, I honestly, when it comes to streaming and streamers, I would say my start of trying to get into it was, I think it was about 2012, 2013. It was actually about the time that you had mentioned it. I had bought myself a little like Blue Yeti snowball, and I was like, maybe I could try it out. And that was actually when I started. This is actually when my second daughter was born. So here I was, a stay-at-home dad, and I was like, maybe I could do that. And it was balancing the kids and then trying it out. But I never went anywhere until, like, I'd say 2015, 2016. That's where I was like, you know what? I want to still do this. I just got to figure out how to do it. And then 2018 was where I kind of just said, you know what? Let's do it. And then got the equipment and started streaming. So I didn't even watch the streamers at the time. Even in 2012, I had an account at the time, but I would rarely go on it.
You didn't know on it.
No, I didn't.
But here's another thing that also helped Twitch's claim to fame. When you had
Yo, Renji, how's it going? Yeah,
Sony
I lost my hair.
streaming
No,
on Twitch.
I cut it.
Oh, Sony is now.
I can tell you more later.
What is this?
I just decided to get rid of it.
Suddenly, Microsoft deciding they're gonna stream on Twitch,
Yep.
and then eventually, Nvidia is now streaming on Twitch. Like, now you have all these people that are fans of various brands here, and they're like, they're still in the, what is Twitch? This seems like a cool place.
Right.
I wonder who's around afterward, because it wasn't as necessary to keep up appearance as it is today.
Yeah.
So, like, naturally, when there's that whole off time when you don't have Sony, Microsoft, AMD, Nvidia streaming,
Mm-hmm.
what do you watch? And you have all these other people. So naturally, you start finding out some of these people, which in the old days also did random front pagers.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Like they still technically do that, but it's really catered to people already having enough audience,
Sure.
as opposed to the old days of, what, this one that's budding has 22, 30, 35 average viewers. Let's throw them on the front page randomly. Let's see what happens. Maybe the audience will like it and they'll continue on doing it. This will also help spike them towards partnership if they
Right.
want to, because people, you have to remember, the affiliate program didn't exist back then.
No, no, it didn't.
You were free to partner. There is no in between
Yep.
status or step up point.
Yep. I remember that.
So, but at that point, you're getting partnership. You're serious.
Right.
You're
You're
you're absolutely serious.
you're invested. There's a reason why you're there. There's a reason why you bought all this stuff, and
Yeah. So naturally, at that point, it just seems like a natural progression if you had all that put together.
mm-hmm.
But you worked at it. Now think of today with the fact that you can build even just a $1,200 system, and it's stream ready.
Yep.
All you need is a decent bandwidth and a decent router for your connected hardware. And now I can go online. It's insanely easy today.
It's crazy. That's for sure.
And then you start looking at all these known people that you have around. I mean, I could say, UF Disciple, aka, the Hot News, Brett, is one, but like to put it even more known, let's just say Dog VA, who just finished his cyclothon the other day. That's a top 20 percenter streamer right there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have Ninja on Twitch, so we know that. But he's up on Kick. You're arguing about whether there's enough audience members that's going to split from Twitch to Kick to watch.
Right.
You're but you're gonna.
Yeah, I actually did, guys. I decided that my hair was kind of getting a little wild, and I decided to cut it.
Maury Calliope.
I did it right after work today too.
Or Maury Calliope.
Shaved it all off.
Calliope. Sheesh, what is wrong with me?
That's all good. Hey,
if you hear this, don't chastise me. No, but I mean, I name these names. Chances are, people is going to know who they are. They're gonna see this and see how simple and easy it is to just start streaming.
Right.
And you have YouTubers like, Epos Fox, who explains to you what it is that you need to get into it, and you start realizing that it's very easy to get into.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely did, Terry.
Just have a
I needed to. It was getting very mullety, so I was just like, you know what? Let's just get rid of it, and we'll let it grow out again on its own. It's cut it all off and just let it all grow out again. So it just takes another year.
That the audience has a sense of understanding. Hey, you can start here with a simple plug-in headset. Get this like $50 one as opposed to this $70 one, and you have at least a headset that the sound quality is decent, but now you also have a mic.
Yeah. I think that
they understand you, so people naturally will think it's just easy to just go in and stream.
And then they're like, oh, like I'm buying all this stuff, and then I'm gonna get big, and then I think that's where a lot of people don't realize that it's not as easy as you think it is.
I think you're jumping it a little bit, but yes, you're jumping a little bit further ahead too far.
Sure.
So they start. So they might start looking around, looking at these famous ones, and then seeing like what they're doing, and then they're gonna try to mimic it when they start their streams. You're gonna maybe they'll even research previous big streamers that have like they're going away from the limelight or whatever. Let's look at their YouTube videos to see what they did, because
let me fit into their shoes and see if maybe those viewers would want to watch me now.
Yeah, but like also they might see the time period but not understand that not all of those YouTube clips were streamed.
Sounds good, Terry. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you, man. Get that rest. Hopefully the sciatica will cut back on that pain for you. Thanks for tuning in, man. We'll see you Thursday.
They recorded it manually, put it together, and uploaded it. So So they're gonna mix seeing some of those points and think like, oh wow, yeah, it is that easy to do live, or maybe they might be slightly smart enough and notice like, oh wait, no, this wasn't done on a live stream. This was recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But I can do that live. I have the understanding and I have the basic knowledge.
Right.
And it's like, all right, so maybe I do need a soundboard. Well, it's expensive to be looking over from a like what, like, the GoPro whatever. I can't remember that specific deck. But okay, you know what? The Elgato Stream Decks. It's a little bit expensive for me to go for that.
Right.
But hey, I have my phone touch portal. Start off free. Have two rows to work with. Do anything that you want, up to 2 pages that you can have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's your free startup for it and like inexpensive way to get into it. So naturally, yes, at that point, now, oh, this is simple and easy. Okay. And then they start. And then somewhere they realize, oh, now with today, the way that streaming is so saturated, it's, oh, I need to actually kind of talk with people and get people interested in my stream.
Yep. Yep.
Now, instead of going over to like network with all the people that they've already watched, that they've already might have made connections of some sorts, presence with,
Mm-hmm.
and talking with them, and they instead go with, oh, well, let me look at these people that have like 100, 200, 300 more viewers than the people that I'd normally talked with, and try to get in short term, thinking they can do it in like 1, 2, 3 streams, and then try to work in getting into their inbox. Let's go with the talk, and it's like, no, that's you're way overstepping that one.
Yeah, I agree on that part. That part, it's always like, jumping into another community and just kind of interacting with them. Like, I think
there's also no accountability there because no one's telling them that they're doing it wrong.
right.
Like, yes, you can have the audience that says that they're doing it wrong, but like it's kind of like the difference of real life, like, between a stranger saying you're doing it wrong versus your parents.
I know, I completely understand. It's exactly what my kids do. It's like I tell them one thing, and then all of a sudden their doctor or somebody tells them the same thing, or their teacher does, and they're like, oh, I shouldn't do that. I'm like, hey, you know what? I told you that like 3 weeks ago. Welcome to my world,
Yeah. So like, and
Discord
I'm
audio
not
is at a
gonna
whisper.
be
Oh,
going into the
I'll
ones
increase
of
that up. Thank you
entitled
for that,
privilege ones.
Kara. How you doing, man?
I'm just dropping that
Ooh,
out of the
too loud.
conversation out of there. It pertains nothing realistic to this part of the conversation.
Sure.
So like, where we're going with this is that you have all these people that are now having this grander vision of what they can do. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And what's your next play? Oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna go over to TwitchCon and I'm gonna be streaming there. Okay.
It's like, whoa, hold your
Need
horses.
to take a step back here.
It's like, wait. It's
Who
like,
are you?
yeah, you're coming up with all this,
Answer
like,
that.
coming up with all this equipment. You're walking in there, like, I mean, like, it might pull some eyes where people look at you, like, who's this person? Like, what are they, what are they streaming? Like, what's their channel? Like, how come they have all this stuff? That might pull people into like looking at them. I mean, not. I don't think in today's world it would, because everybody's doing the same thing. But say 2019, the last E3, or when TwitchCon was, before the pandemic.
Yeah. Now, like, let's just state this. Let's go back to even just that 2015, 2016 era, even.
Mm-hmm.
you know, a person that's kind of like serious and wanting to kind of advance themselves in Twitch, they decide, hey, I'm gonna go over to the TwitchCon. Okay, cool. They actually have the money, they register themselves, they go. They have the means to stream, whether, you know, somehow like on foot there or from like at least doing like daily check-ins or and evening check-ins
Sure.
for the streams in their hotels. That's pretty big back then.
Yep.
But again, smaller audience, a smaller amount of streamers. Hey, this guy is talking interesting things about, like, you know, tech. Here's this guy that's talking about interesting things about the video game industry, not necessarily just about the games. It's just, you know, the behind the scenes elements of it, things that make sense from a programming perspective.
Sure.
Hey, I'm gonna listen to this. Now you got audience built up for this from just this event.
Mm-hmm.
Now today it's like, oh well, I'm, you know, this Saturday I'm gonna go over to Phoenix because of an event that's going on in downtown area. It's and that'll be a good way to kind of separate myself. Okay, let's think about this for a second. This is a major event, like, you know, in terms of city events within this time period.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Does it also involve, like, you know, quite a few local people coming in, as well as people outside of the city, and or maybe people outside of the state? Yes. Is, you know, is the out of the state big enough to warrant where it would be, like, you know, hitting to the hotels? No. Okay, so it's smaller. But if you're still limiting to yourself with just the state level, then you're forgetting the one critical element out of this. You and how many other people are going to be doing the same thing.
Right. Right. You're not the only one that came up with this idea.
Yeah. Especially in the time period. Like, if you, like, in some cases, maybe they might have, some have already thought about it last month. Maybe another one has already thought about it 3 months ago when they registered and announced it already in their stream.
Mm-hmm.
Of like 20 people, which is fairly good on the low end. No matter how you look at it, 20 people, that's fairly good.
Right.
Is there a chance that that one could get a few more audience members if they do their research job right? Yes, that is possible.
Right.
But you're gonna go there and then you find that you didn't quite acquire your audience.
How you doing? How you doing,
as
Rube?
you expected from going there. Well, what did you do? Talked about some things. Okay, cool. Did you find anybody?
Are you looking at those things
that was worth, like, you know, personally talking to? Did you come up with anybody ahead of time to kind of like, hey, can we, like, you know, not really like collaborate for the whole stream, just, you know, a hi, hello, like, you know, spend 5-10 minutes and then move on?
Sure. Right.
Did you do any of that there were going to be audience members that would have been interested, you know, come up to you while you're streaming in this case, and it's like, hey, who are you? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm so and so, I was streaming. It's like, you know, okay, no, and that's rude. Like, you know, you don't need to say all that.
Right.
Like, what were you hoping to achieve? Like, I know I'm a small streamer, but like, what were you hoping to achieve? Like, no, you know, maybe we can also combine our audiences, blah blah blah. Like, no. We didn't even decide about that before. Now you're trying to put me on the spot to decide that. Like, that's where the problem is. Now you just caused a negative notoriety about this.
Yep.
And you're going to have a very quick differentiator of the audience. Those audience members that seen it might end up kind of putting you know, oh, well, now we remember this one. And now we're going to even, you know, talk about it up on Reddit. Your fame is already now either going to break or get completely screwed from then on. make it, because maybe there will be just enough awkwardness that there's going to be enough people to come in and see, like, did this person at least learn their lessons and, do any better? Okay.
Right?
Then at that
Yes, I
point, you
did.
consider
Someone stole my hair,
yourself
man.
super
All
lucky
of
and
it.
accept the audience.
I cut it
conversation bit out.
actually right after work
But
today. I'll talk about it once
otherwise,
Zap and I are done talking
it's
about
more
this.
likely going to be, the point, laugh about it, and there's your 15 minutes of fame, and everybody just has you marked down as someone not to look at. That's worse than trying to be known.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially like
So-
that just kind of destroys your whole
That destroys all chances.
I wouldn't say it's a career, but it destroys, yeah, right, like you said, your chances.
Yeah. So, like, and it's not to say that it's impossible at that point, but like the work now that you have to put in if you're actually serious just massively increased.
Yep.
So let's look at China though, with a lot of those issues in mind. It's not just about that. What they found is that they have to, like, effectively work the system, work with brands, work with
Rude, yeah. So I don't know
getting themselves
if ads were going on, but yeah,
being the
I cut my hair
differentiator from
right after
the
work
other
today.
person.
We can talk more about it after I
fitting
finish talking with Zap here.
almost like the being that popular kid in high school, trying to find that popularity level and just spring to action the first that can do it. And there's a lot of that in China.
I've
So much
I've
so
seen
that they're trying to, like, effectively, in order to support the other streamers, what some are missing is that they have to earn the money to distribute that same money to these other streamers.
right.
So now you're already having a work conflict because you need money to support another streamer, but you need audience to support you.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a problem there.
Doesn't that make it even harder if you're actually trying to support a streamer and then just do it yourself too? I mean, this is one of the reasons why I can't watch other streamers. Is like I would love to support them, but then like my mindset is like I need to focus on what I'm trying to do in order to just become a content
But
creator
there's a
myself.
secondary problem in China with these streamers.
We're just talking about streaming in general,
Many
and I guess streamers
are
in China.
actually basically homeless.
Yeah, don't they, like, if I remember correctly, I remember seeing some like documentaries of like them having like these small little square cubicles that they just kind of stream in and then they walk out.
There
Like
is that, but there is also that like there's places like streets literally where on the sidewalks there's like 10 people lined up, like sitting down, like with the wall facing behind them, that they're talking with these clearest type of mics that they managed to snag with the money that they got from their streams or found.
really?
And instead of, like, let's try to, like, get back into a home for this, no, we're spending it on this equipment.
Yeah. That's. I mean, it's that bad in China where people are actually homeless, where they're just
worse.
struggling on making money.
It's worse. It's not just about that. It's also about how much does the streamers make versus what they have to spend. One of the things to try to get in a little bit easier is joining effectively like a streaming group per se.
Oh, okay.
So
Kind of like this,
little bit
kind of like the
like,
streaming houses here.
I mean, sort of, but I was talking more like what's it? I guess if I was to take like V Shoujo as an example, that is technically sort of close to the streaming groups that I'm referring to,
Mm,
but that's more like an agency.
right.
There, we're talking about these groups that have the access to, provide the sponsorship talks. Um, so what they're usually realizing late afterwards is that, oh well, they join in, they get this deals, like, okay, now they have to basically stream like every day from 2 in the afternoon to 6 in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They got to do this almost every day, like 6 days a week. um they now have to like maybe set stream times for doing this like entire like product talk, conversation topics, whatever. uh and they do that, and like they're going in with the signing of this, like, oh hey, like I'm gonna get also like 15% commission and all this stuff, which, on paper, yes, that sounds great. um and I have to effectively give up as well, like, an additional like 20% of what I would earn
Sure.
from from all these people that are doing it. Well,
Right.
okay, when you just say, "Oh yeah, I have to give up 20% of what I earn," like that doesn't sound so bad, but they don't keep in mind about the other aspect to it. So like, taking in uh uh Twitch, which I can't remember what the current split is for partnership, but it's like, but I think the standard right now is something like 60/40 now, or something like that.
Yeah,
That
I guess I don't remember
Yeah.
because I'm not even a part of it.
Yeah, I know, I
It's
know.
like
It's I'm thinking it's like 60/40, I think it is.
something like
Um
that. Yeah.
for 60 for the streamer, as a partner.
Sure.
Um okay, that's fine. But that's
Is it
60
really still low?
that's 60% of what you earn.
That's weird. Let me try fixing that.
20% of that is being given up to the
I
streaming
mean,
group.
it could be that my voice is just really low, but
So automatically,
like I
in that,
just not
if we're
talking
using
loud enough. But
US dollar terms,
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
we might have, someone throws in $10 worth, and you're only getting like, six
You guys
dollars
can't
out of
hear.
that.
You got?
Well,
Are
no,
you
now
guys
you're
not able to
getting like
hear
only you're
Zap
losing
talking?
20% of that $6. Um, I that's now what, like 480
All right, let me
or
fix that.
something like
I'll
that.
bring the music down more
Um,
too.
485, something like that. Um,
Okay. Good.
that is that's like, okay, well, you're still making like roughly half of what you would have made just from that $10. Okay, what about in this case the phone bill to keep it going? Because, oh right, the agency never said that they were going to provide you with the means to keep streaming. That's still
Exactly.
on you.
Exactly. I mean,
So you have that, and then looks matter. So you may have to like get different clothes for a certain event and stuff. You're not accounting for that. Um, love the look you just did. You have to do that. Like, get, in some cases, getting the makeup done as well, or
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
oh, like this place is not going to be as lit up. Now I need to get myself the lighting equipment for all this.
MLN.
Okay,
Wait, what does
so
MLN stand
putting
for?
it into perspective, like, yeah, all right, I made roughly
Melon head.
$500 from this event. No, I lost a good chunk of that, so really I made about $225 from the event. Okay.
I now
Well,
see
now
that.
that's that 225. What do I have to also pay back into? I have to put into this. I have to go and make that travel to this next destination. And
The funny thing is I have it
like
like right
I kind of
there
got to eat.
next to each other, and I didn't see that.
Put that together, and now like, oh, from that event, I just
Kind of glad you're
made
watching over there too,
realistically
Care. Thank you for that.
$40.
Oh, multi-level
How is that
marketing.
motivation to continue streaming?
I mean,
that,
I
that
guess
you lost almost like 90% of your earning.
I mean
Your earning.
if we put myself in comparison to that, I mean, I'm like, I lost 100% of my earnings. I mean, I don't even make anything, and I'm still investing on just all the stuff that I'm doing. And I think it's more or less like a hobby, and I think that's the approach that you kind of take it. You know, you got to start off saying, this is what I want to do. I want to entertain. And realize the reality of it is that I may not take off as fast as I want, or I may not even take off ever. But to do it consistently and just kind of like keeping at it, I think that for me personally is where, like, if that's what you want to do, sure. If you really want to make it a business, then you know you gotta work and as like other viewers exactly as what other streamers say, like Harris Heller, for example. He's like, he works more than 40 hours a week. That's just the fact of what he needs to do in order to maintain his status. It's like,
and that's another thing too that a lot of the Chinese streamers were also dealing with. Yes, there is like when the stream's off, they're not done working.
Right. No, and that's the thing too. It's like people don't realize that. It's just like going down the path of like game developing and you know, the consumers. Gamers are always,
everybody's gonna have that opinion.
I think, but then
as a former QA, I hate it.
if you look at it that way, I mean, even just video gaming and the video game industry and how people like look at like the developers, and you know, like the consumers are like, I have the final say because whatever I say either will make or break your game. I mean, just look at Capcom and Dragon's Dogma. Like, they've lost 80% of their gamers, and it's all because of what? Like, there are things that you could pay for, and there are things that you only pay and you get it once, and you get it in game eventually, stuff like that. And then having the consumers just say, you know what, screw you, Capcom, you screwed us over, we're gonna screw you over back. It's that whole mindset of just like, that's where things are, and it's crazy.
And of course, you know, what doesn't make it better.
Hey,
you know,
Manny, how's it going, man?
You know,
no problem,
looking
no problem. How you been?
Outside of China and going back into, you know, the West.
I was whatever last week.
We also have another issue going on.
Ubisoft,
right?
Exactly.
About all that. The
quadruple title
influencer level
games.
Like we're re-going through the same crap that we had in 2016. The rise of the influencers. These people up on Twitter. Snapchat as well, like all these different things that like, I'm an influencer.
That's the problem, Rue. Like you can't move and switch like that suddenly.
Like what I say literally will make or break your business. Well, that was gone. Now we have this new era where you got the brands that literally see that these people are gonna make them money. And I mean, you know, I hate to say it, but look at all the issues with Sniper Wolf.
I remember hearing. Okay, so I'm not as up to date with Sniper Wolf, but I am familiar with her because I remember hearing about her years ago. But then I think I caught on a little bit as to what happened and how she like assumed that some other YouTuber was stalking her or something like that. And
no, that's a lot worse. It's a lot worse. I won't even really get into it.
There's another thing now?
There's several.
Oh my, okay. Well, maybe you can tell me another
let me put it to you in a summarized way. We have that she actually, you know, doxed another streamer.
Oh yeah, okay, like, I remember that one. That's the one I think I remember.
She physically went to their place and showed it up on
that's pretty much what it is
TikTok.
now. Oh my God.
And so like people that watched it had a chance to take the snapshot. They knew the look of the image. All they had to do was compare it for a Google image search.
Right. I mean,
And then get the number, and the number was there. So they would just have to look and compare and be like, oh, hey, there's the streamer's house.
okay, so what was her motivation on all that? Is she just crazy?
Who knows? But like but it turns out that she wanted to. Oh, what's another streamer? I know her, like the start of her name, but I don't really pay attention to her much either.
Okay.
But she's usually so chill. Was it Azel? Azzy, short name Azzy. Like she apparently Sniper Wolf tried to pick a fight against Azzy, did it live, and then somehow spinned it around that it was Azzy that was trying to fight her.
Oh, wow, this was live.
It wasn't like a secret, and yet Sniper Wolf still has more people that believe what she said rather than what both Azzy, who actually admitted later of like, well, no, this is literally what happened, and other people that could verify this is what happened. But
I don't know.
Poor Azzy got the hate train. So that's what I mean by you have all this, and you would figure this is outright illegal.
This just makes me lose faith,
or
in
at least
humankind.
or another way, morally unethical. Okay,
oh, no,
we can even
hands
go
down, especially that. I mean,
yeah,
but
YouTube hasn't really done something against it. Oh,
of course not.
We took away the monetization on the channel. Okay, and then here Sniper Wolf decides to try to do a roundabout to that. Like, oh, well, I'm just gonna use my secondary channel and move up, and do more uploads, which is against the rules during a demonetization strike thing. That's given. And it took the audience to point that out again, and they basically gave her another, like, okay, we demonetized all her channels.
Oh my god, this is making my brain hurt.
And yet, and another thing to keep in mind that one of her claim to fame of like why this happened is that when Sniper Wolf is making these videos, she is literally copying Azzy's videos. Like a lot of her old videos. Let's say it's just, you made a video up on YouTube of your experience in going to one of the AMD events in like 2018, but like, before that you were in the outside area, you were enjoying, I don't know, LA area a little bit, and then you witnessed some things or whatever, you talked about this, that, the other thing, and reacted to certain video clips that were given.
Rue. Streamer drama, that's what it is.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she did a year later. Then makes it claim to that it's hers. But what we also end up finding out is that Sniper Wolf has been doing like the game streams. She's never been even playing them.
So she just puts up a video of somebody else playing it, and she just kind of acts like she's
at
playing
the time it was her boyfriend that was playing it.
What the fuck?
And the boyfriend was also writing scripts of what she could say while this stream is going.
I mean, it's a form of entertainment, but then why not just come out and say like, my boyfriend plays video games and I'm gonna watch him play? What's wrong with that?
Here's another point though. She's supposed to be like really good at this game, like on these games, and so here she goes into a Fortnite tournament.
Oh god.
That was Ninja sponsored. Ninja sponsored it, and
I'm already laughing.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, so it's gonna be a put up or shut up. Okay, she goes and joins it. This was a special tournament where it was like they were pairing these streamers with some of these athlete celebrities and stuff.
Oh
So
God.
like in this case, she was paired with um what was this? A Terrence. Which
Terrence
Terrence?
Howard?
I think so.
You mean the guy from the first Iron Man?
No, no.
Okay.
No,
different
athlete,
Terrence.
sorry.
Oh, athlete.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of Terrences for athletes, so that's why I'm like trying to think which.
Terrence Shannon Jr., basketball player. Terrence.
It was a basketball player. I remember that. Now.
Terrence
Yeah.
Thomas. Yeah.
Doesn't sound as
Anyways.
familiar. But anyways, no. The point
Terrence.
is paired with that.
Uh-huh.
Freaking the tournament match starts.
Last place.
Not even 30 seconds in, they both get eliminated.
Ouch.
Imagine the shattering, the fall that would have to, occur to one's mind to be completely embarrassed in a major tournament
Mm-hmm.
to show your skills was nothing. When you're supposed to be this top streamer, top influencer.
Yeah, especially when she was rolling off of that fact that she was a gamer and she was good at Fortnite, especially at that point. But here's the thing. People love being blindsided by stuff like that. They love just, you know what? They're just going to go with it, whatever they believe is the case. I don't like,
yeah, and
just this conversation is making me frustrated because of just how people
but
are
she
that
still has
yeah, she still got her viewers.
She still has her viewers. Is it going down? Yes, absolutely. Especially the more that it's coming to light about like all this stuff that she's done. But it's the point that in this case, if it was anybody else
Don't believe the things you see on TV or interwebs,
that did
right?
any of these like singular elements
No, I
and
try
was up
not
on
to.
YouTube would just ban them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But because in this case, this influencer, top level streamer, like up their level of money maker, she's around, they won't let her go.
Because it's making them money. This is how corrupt
And
things
then
can get.
this is where it gets to the streamers that still believe that they have a chance, because you also see that these streamers, oh well, we can get away with like just about anything then. Like once we're good enough. So let's just up the ante of crazy of what we're gonna do to get into these to this levels.
I feel like here's the thing. I feel like the US is great in a lot of things. The things that they're
Yes.
not so great at is just having like freaking, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't even think of anything that would just, people in the US, when it comes to just money, it is so greedy. It's so criminal with how people function and how they get away with so much stuff. Because
Dude.
it's like, you know what, if this person's gonna make me money, or if I can find a loophole, then let's go and do it. And then, it's stuff like, it's the stuff that makes money is where things start to go to shit. It's like, oh, you don't have to be, influencing and becoming a streamer. That was things that people wanted to do because it was like, oh, cool, like, I can show off my gaming content. And now it's like, okay, I can show off like my skills and whatever. Cool, awesome. And now it's like, I can show this off, make a living, and then when I get big, I can just say fuck everybody and I'm just gonna do whatever I do. Like, here's the thing. A lot of the big streamers I rarely pay attention to, because a lot of them, I feel like, I don't know them personally, but from what I
Yes.
can tell and what I see on stream, just makes me go, oh my god, if people are watching these streamers like this and this is how they are, like, what kind of freaking mindset are they setting for all their viewers? Like, if I were to stream to you guys and just be a total asshole, like,
you're thinking too logically. And that's what I mean. Like, I know where you're going with this, and it's like, yes, but you're thinking way too logical.
Look, I'm not-
All you
I'm-
have to do is put yourself into the mindset of 10 years ago you. Hell, you know what? 15 years ago you, and then put it into today's. What do you think you would be doing, or aspiring towards? And there you go. You have all the answers from some of these top streamers. Yes, the you right now knows you would never do half this crap.
I actually,
But you got experience. There we go. Experience beyond for all this, mixed with your own moral grounds.
yeah, I mean, me personally, my morals have always been there.
They
and
haven't.
you mean theirs have not?
No, these budding streamers.
Oh yeah. No, their morals are just out of whack. This is it goes back to the whole incident in 2019 with all these like community managers for these companies and like people getting blacklisted and all this shit. It is the exact same situation. Once you get power, you like the morals just go out the window. You abuse them. You think you're in control of everything. It goes anywhere. It doesn't matter what industry it is in. It just happens, and like it's like nobody cares about it. It's like, you know what? Let's let this guy get away with shit, and then everybody else is gonna get away with shit. It's like, I don't know. Like, it's like us as human beings, we've evolved to the point where we should be knowing what's right from wrong, and yet here we are still in the 21st century in 2020. 2024, and we're still seeing crazy shit. I mean, just look at the world and how fucked up everything is right now. It's like, guys, come on, just fucking here's the thing: respect. It's all that there is. It's just one word, and it's if you just follow that one freaking word, everything would be fine, and nobody does it. And it's like, are we humans? Are we just freaking,
I'm not, we're not saying ever to be like, oh, when you stream, you need to be a saint. There is that's somewhat gone and yet somewhat not.
There's,
like,
I mean,
but we're just trying to say
there's
that,
no
like,
rule. There's no rule for that. I mean, in any situation in the real world, there is no rule of having to be a saint. Nobody tells you have to be. There's no law saying you have to be. And even when it comes down to it being a law, nobody's going to listen to it. I mean, for crying out loud, just looking at the people driving down the road every day now, it's like, what happened after the pandemic? Like, nobody gives a shit about the speed limit, about passing other people, cutting people off. And it's like, what the hell's going on here?
It still surprises me with that, yeah. But I mean,
why have integrity when it hurts profits?
And I agree
exactly.
With you, this is where
exactly.
I'm gonna be taking it over while we.
This is the beginning of Sunisi's kick streaming. I think I'd move over to YouTube instead.
Is
not kick?
A thing that some people don't know about the
kick
old
does give you like
day
what,
of
80-20,
Twitch.
something like that.
Some people got partner status
because
by
they knew
not
people.
giving a crap.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Like, it's like, oh, I'm not really expecting myself to be some like grand streamer. I get 50 viewers going, now 100 viewers, now 150 viewers, now
it's
200
like,
videos.
I'm getting all these views because I'm an asshole.
And
Let's
they
keep being
still
an asshole.
didn't care. Like, they had nothing to do with like wanting to be, super famous or anything, but like they just naturally got it. Okay, fine. And then they're like, hey, we're offering you this point to be partnered. And they'll be like, you know what? Sure, why not? But they didn't like really hard look at, the deals or anything. They just figured, well, at least now I get a little bit more officially paid for it. But now those streamers are legends at this point. Like, because you don't see them around anymore. You don't. They're basically nobodies now by comparison with all these other streamers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but like, back then in those days, it's like, yes, a partner, like, a high level partner was someone that could be that they only cap out at 250 to 300 viewers
Mm-hmm.
a stream,
Mm-hmm.
top level. And these are, and some of these were streamers that they just didn't care. Their passion was, I just wanted to stream. I just wanted to either talk this way, talk this crap, whatever. Okay, cool. They wanted to, play these certain type of games, and maybe they just had a different way of playing it. Like, I just was sharing it to others to witness, which kind of made it different from anybody else.
And that's
You
what pulls
had all
people
this
in. It's
stuff.
just the differences, you know.
It was no entertainment, like, oh, I have to do it this way, I have to pre-plan it. It's just, this is how I am, this is how I'm doing my streams, and if you don't like it, there's somebody else that you might like. I don't care, it's not going to
Yeah.
bother me. So
Yeah.
so that's how you had some of those famous people back then that is completely unknown today. So
Kind of glad they're
Beam,
unknown.
right, but like Beam right now, that's what we're kind of trying to go back into, is more of the streamers that, like, really more of the passion, and whatever money that they make out of it, then they make it.
Uh-huh.
Let them have it, right?
Right?
But
Yeah.
Beam is not, well, at least right now, they're not going to be in charge of the sponsorships. They're not going to be the ones that care about who's going to be their money makers.
Right.
Like, this is public knowledge. If you search hard enough for our, like, previous interviews, Angel is the one that actually said it, with me and the Riaya, that he's not looking to be like, oh, if Mr. Beast was interested in joining in, like, he's not going to try to offer up some kind of a freaking deal for him.
Right.
He's going to be treated the same way as you or I.
Right.
If he wants to join, he wants to join. Fine, let him join. But there's no reason to, like, block him from joining. Now, if he wants to have a sense of, of what he says has more validation of what needs to be put into it, then, at that point he might say, all right, are you willing to, like, be part of, like, the board, but also be serious about this, like, in like a full-on investor, as well? If he says yes, okay, and then we'll actually talk about whatever features that you want, but you're not going to be the one that dictates just for being on this platform.
You mean he's not going to be another Elon Musk?
Right. Yes. So, like, it like that's the thing. It doesn't matter how much your fame is. They're not going to dictate the platform. Everybody's going to be treated in the same exact way as even the lowest common denominator.
That
And that
and
also means, and I've been discussing it with Tio, Theodore, which I've already stated this once before, that we have been talking on certain things that need to, like, be put in place before it launches. This one we're still trying to think about on how we're going to approach this. We kind of want to do a thing that's a little bit like what Twitch tried to start, that whole like, I guess you could say, like, a tribunal type system, if you will, that independently would check on certain things that
okay.
that goes on the Beam platform.
Okay.
So, but the main reason behind it is that we don't necessarily want like people that work in Beam itself to influence, how the streamers should run things for just for within their popularity, that is.
Okay.
Um so like we could have Mr. Beast in there. Yes, and that with that audience, that's a lot of money that can be thrown around to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want to, like, if he actually went over the line on something, to like dictate, well, yeah, with what he did, um normally we would ban for like 2 weeks, but he is also a money maker. Maybe we need to reduce this down to like 3 days. Like what, to a minor level offense?
Yeah, that
No, no, we can't do that. He has to be like everyone else. He has to take accountability. So we would aim for that.
exactly.
Um
Exactly. And
we
I think that's what needs to be done. I think that a lot of platforms, they don't do that. They don't it's like everywhere you go there are these rules, these out,
Yes.
and then it's like, you know what, follow these rules. And then if somebody doesn't follow this rule, then they go, well, let me just kind of gauge these things, and then, oh, there's an outlier. There's an exception. It's like, what? Like, then how do you do this? Like, how do you make a law or a rule or some situation where it's like, this is what this platform is for, or this is what, you know, this, there's a reason why it's there, and then to not abide by it, that's where things just kind of go sideways, especially like in any situation. And to see this happening with streamers and platforms, it I mean, I hope people kind of realize this, but then, I guess people are blind. Rules
Yeah,
for thee but not
and
for me.
never me, yeah. I
Yep.
mean, okay, so like even I'll admit, like, what we really would need is to kind of convince certain larger streamers to come over to Beam, but we're not saying to give up on what their platform of choice is.
Yeah, kind of just
Um,
stick go back and forth between the two.
well, no, because we even have the restreaming tech
Oh, right. Oh, yep,
native.
yep, yep.
So like they don't even have to do that.
Just use our
And
platform to kind of broadcast everywhere.
yeah, um like I, I'm not sure how many people know this, if they ever like caught wind about G Tribe and the talks of the Beam platform. But um Beam originally, when it was supposed to launch, was supposed to be 2 months prior to when Twitch had that whole blow up of the changes of like the ad systems and how they were going to treat like, you know everybody that streams out to other platforms and all these other changes.
Right.
Just before that, and then it happened, and I had actually discussed with Angel, like, you know I hate to say it, but this is a really big opportunity to have Beam launch.
Yep.
Why aren't we ready? And he, at the time before I started working under Beacon Max, um, he outright said that it's just that we're not ready at all. We came across certain things like, illegal um illegal issues that we had to address before launch.
Mm-hmm.
We also came across certain technical issues that, at the end of the day, we have to make sure these technical issues are polished enough to where anything that is an issue should be minor and can be overlooked.
Oh, sure. Okay.
We
Yeah. I
to So yeah, that's why there was the delay. It sucked
Yeah. I
big
bet.
time because that we could have, you know, Oh,
That was a,
half the
that.
people that are over on Kick, yeah, I bet you would have been over.
It was a
Would
golden
be over at Peak.
opportunity right there, that's for sure. But I guess bad timing overall. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
like there's a lot that we're trying to do, and if anything, that discussion of what's going on with the Chinese streamers
Mm-hmm.
uh is kind of an indicator of like, well, we know we have a lot of those bad issues that the Chinese streamers are going through. For Beam to be successful, we need to try to avoid a lot of those issues.
Yeah.
For Beam to be really successful, we need to avoid other troublesome issues that are found on other platforms.
Yeah. I mean, being a part of the G Tribe, years ago, I just kind of fell out of the whole community and whatnot. It's seeing how Angel kind of took control of G Tribe and he pushed it in the direction where it is today. I feel like he's got a good mindset on where it should be and how they should approach it and approach it the right way. So I'm being hopeful that like Beacon will be able to just be some form of it's just right in the name of the product, you know. It's a beacon. Hopefully it's going to be that beacon where everybody's like, this is how things should be. This is how the community should be like. This is how streamers should be treated. This is how, you know, the mindset should be. Granted, like streamers themselves personally and who they are and what they do, you obviously can't control that, but you know.
So I mean, like, you know, here's one of the things that at this current time I haven't heard any changes yet. You know, I've already told you a little bit about it, but you know, as a streamer, you kind of have to pay into the streaming thing, but it's not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
I think
even if you're using just the Beacon Max payment, like, which will give you the premium on Beam, it's still not a lot. But here's where we immediately take away out of that, which should be considered a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, we get rid of the people that think, oh, I can do that. I can I can start off with this. Like, no. It's cheap enough that not cheap, I don't want to say cheap. It's cost effective enough.
Right.
If you're gonna join and you want to do it as just a passion thing, start off that way. But if you're gonna be wanting to be serious, at least you already have the start of it being serious.
Mm-hmm.
You're already investing towards this.
Right. You're that price that you're paying to use the platform kind of differentiates like who is going to be on there, you know. You know, somebody who's going to be like, you know, a person who doesn't really care about streaming and is just there and can create a free account and just go live at any time that they want to, versus somebody who's like, you know what, there's a price to pay to be on this and I'm investing for XYZ reasons. I think you see a higher quality of streamers there than you would see anywhere else. I mean, and
digital
you
security shakedown. So okay, I know what you're talking about. I cannot say anything in regards to that. I am so sorry.
He's like, oh, no.
I had to think, like, is this public knowledge?
Security
No.
shakedown. Oh, that's red tape. That's red tape. I can't talk about that. There's red tape all over that.
I can say it's been talked about. You know, as someone in the IT industry, I have already made my questions there. And I also, you know, appended to the entire thing like, wait, this is great and all. How secret do I have to say about this? And he's just like, has to be approved by Angel. And I'm like, got it.
It's like, all right, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
So like, you know, I had actually thought about it when I joined Beacon Max for the small business side,
Mm-hmm.
to be like, all right, listen, I know that means now I'm gonna know a lot more what what goes on, and I will definitely keep it hush hush on the things that you say is publicly hush hush. But like I can tell you that in terms of digital security shakedown, it's well, cybersecurity in general, everybody's gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So
So stop talking.
some form
That's
of
what
it
Kara
is
says.
gonna happen. It's gonna happen, but I like, the specifics I can't say right now. Uh,
Yeah, basically digital
uh,
security shakedown. The topic of it has been discussed, but we can't go into details. Pretty much.
right. Yes, exactly. Um, and remember, I said that the streamers have to pay for
Mm-hmm.
getting to be able to stream. But the
Mm-hmm.
streamers, there's two things that are coming out of it for the streamers paying uh to stream. One, and I'm not sure. Have you discussed? Did you watch the last few weeks of the WAN shows over on LTT?
I've not. No.
Okay, so
The ninjas have been
okay,
dispatched to end this conversation. Yeah.
oh
The-
no, so okay, here we go. So there was a point that Linus had to state about what the companies were doing because of Google's incessantness about trying to like take away effectively features and put them into subscriptions, and that the same could be said for literally almost every other quote free service
uh-huh.
that's come out.
Uh-huh.
But these are occurring more for companies that have done this for a long time as free.
Mm-hmm.
And now like we as the users of a lot of these different platforms are now paying the price
Oh yeah,
for
hands
all this
down.
freeze because they never expected one that it was going to be way more expensive over time,
Right.
and two, uh they didn't exactly have a full on plan of what was going to happen after 5 years and how they would address it. And those same plans weren't going to just keep filling the money, the money pot for everybody. So part of having the streamers pay to stream up front addresses one element in that what they're effectively paying for is not just the usage of the platform, but like the tech behind it.
Yep.
So we eliminate the chances of trying to be like, oh, we gather everybody for free, but then like, oh, we kind of want you to start, really paying into it as well. Like, no, like, okay, we're gonna stop that from being an issue from the beginning
Right.
by having you pay into it and have this expectation. But at least when you pay into it and you use this, you see the value of it from the beginning. Now, as long as technology keeps up and we don't have to ever have that whole massive inflation issue where it might cause everything to go up significantly,
Well, I think at that
knock
point,
on
that's
wood.
yeah. I think at that point, that's when it's not even. It's just in general of the whole world. Then, if you look at it
Yes.
at the big picture, I think, we're talking about streaming right now, but if in these situations, I mean, I just got done watching. Granted, I've never finished playing. Cyberpunk, but I just got done watching Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix, and just
Uh-huh.
seeing the struggle that David was dealing with about having to pay all these bills, and like just even when his okay, if any of you guys are gonna watch the anime and you never watched it, I'm sorry, spoiler alert. When his mom,
Spoilers!
yeah, when his mom died, and he had to like, they were like, oh yeah, sorry, this package doesn't allow you to visit her because of you didn't pay for this package. It's like, Are you seriously kidding me that you have to pay just to like go in and see your significant other who's dying on the operation table? Like you have to buy that shit? Like I feel like that's where we're moving towards, like inevitably, is like everything's a subscription, and I completely understand that in
Yeah.
order to provide the services you need to have like a like stable income to just provide, like you said, the equipment, the technology, the infrastructure of what each like service is. But to the point where if I have to pay for everything that I'm doing, even just to breathe air, then that is not living. This is not.
And that's the only issue that I do agree with you there. I do agree with you as a problem, and I think
Exactly, Care. No, I agree.
that's why, at least on Beam side, I can say is it's great that as an audience member it's going to be free.
Yeah.
um
Right. Exactly.
but like,
right.
people are gonna there might be people that will question, like, well, wait a minute, it what's to say that the audience member won't pay from a year from now?
Mhm.
Well, you have to keep in mind, one of the things is that it's going to be up to the streamer. One of the features that the streamer has as well, they get to dictate the subscriber cost.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to be like Twitch, where it's like, oh, you start off with like, $4.99, and then like a, a $9.99 and a $24.99 and all that stuff. No, we're not going to have that.
Right.
It's you if you want to make a starting one at $2.49, $2.50, by all means, do it.
Right.
If you want to, make it where $2.50 is a starter, and then you have like a $5 tier and a $10 tier, do it. That's totally up to you. You want to
Treading close
make
on this thing
where
that does
some
not
streams
want
that
to
you
be
go
tread
live,
on.
it's
Hopefully
for
you realize that shake
subscribers
should be
only
run over
to
with a
watch.
lawnmower.
Go ahead.
Not the
If
Florida
if
kind
that's
of
what you
flag,
want to do,
right?
then
Not
do it.
not that stupid flag, right?
I mean, we're it's like, it really, if you're in this case, we're going by, if you're the streamer, you should have the right to dictate how you want to do to your stream for your community.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I think that's like the incentive right there. It's like, you know what? Maybe you want to stream, but you can't. People don't find the value of $5 a month for your content. Maybe it's $2.49, like you said. Maybe it's just, support me by, giving me a coffee donation. And that's in that
Right.
situation. It's like, well, in this case, you know what? A subscription for $2.50, rather than having to go through some other channel of providing, um, paying for the content that you're watching and supporting the streamer. You're now now have the opportunity of saying, you know what, why do I have to give you an option to go through here and donate money when you can just pay for my subscription for $2.50? The donation option is still
Exactly.
there, but you know what, if it's $2.50 you can only get, or you can only afford, I'm fine with that.
Exactly. And it's like, so that's what's happened with the audience members. They're going to subscribe to it, so they're already going to dictate like what is not free for them when they make their subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who are we to decide what you should or shouldn't spend? Like, that should be your prerogative.
Yeah, I'm still kind of at all that there's a tier 3 subscription for Twitch. It's like, I don't know if I could afford paying $25 a month for like watching somebody
I
stream.
don't.
Like and I mean, I understand that there's some people that are like, you know what, I have money, I'm gonna throw it there, but it's like I mean, like, who pays $25 a month for Netflix? Nobody does, I mean, like, granted that there's different tiers now, you're paying for different pricing, but it's like, if I don't need to pay for that much, then why would I? Granted, like, you're providing support for a streamer and kind of helping their make sure that they're making a living, but at the same
Yes.
time, do are you supposed to just be given that option of like $25 a month? You know, like can it be something different? And like there are other options. There's
And,
there's coffee and stream
and
elements and all that.
remember, while you're a streamer, like the split for anything that you receive is effectively 80/20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kick is still gonna win over for the overall split, but theirs is really more unreasonable than like. Yeah, it's great for the streamer, but it's like, and how is that really going to be paying the bills on the back end
Right.
infrastructure?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like
no.
how's Kick going to survive off of this? Is there some money tree that they're just plucking off of every month that they're just like, you know what? Let's just we're gonna pay with this money tree right here.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, what? No, no. I mean, it's actually it's at this point, it's almost no secret for it, even though that they've tried to address it.
Yeah. Yeah. Twenty
But
four
like,
ninety nine coming soon to
we're
Netflix. Yeah.
we're gonna be coming out of this
Is that what I'm
where
paying for? Is
we
that what
don't
I'm
have
watching? Is that a
any
show and a movie called
like,
24.99?
I wouldn't say not drama per se. That's not the word I want to use. Um, no bad blood. I want to
Mm,
say for like historically just for launching this.
sure. Sure.
Where like I mean you here's a platform that like hardly anybody talked about anyway, but like Caffeine. It was decent for what it was. Like wasn't great, but wasn't
Mm-hmm.
terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then their announcement that a lot of these partnered streamers over at Caffeine knew about ahead of time. Um, they Fox buys them. Well, what the heck did Fox want to come in and buy them for? Like, what was the plan? What was the intent? What's going on with this?
Right.
And yet nowadays, what you see for Caffeine, what Fox is used for, literally is watching NASCAR, certain other racing events, certain sporting events. And then like the streamers themselves, they're hardly ever advertised. But Fox has them. Like, what's supposed to be expected
Right. Right.
out of that?
I mean, heck, I didn't even know that caffeine was a thing that existed. I mean, but just going to their website, all I see is just sports. Sports.
Yeah,
I at
Caffeine
very
still does exist for streaming, but I think that that audience is scarce at this point.
yeah,
The
it's
like compared
very
to what it was before.
it's very
Um,
niche. I looking at the very bottom, like just there, I'm seeing videos of like people that are tagging in like StarCraft and gaming, and they're not
yeah,
even getting views. Like it's like it makes me wonder, like what's even the point of being on there then?
I mean, I'm already calling it that Caffeine is going to get shut down. But Fox is like no stranger to just saying, you know what, this is not doing us any
Oh yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
Either we just cut ties or say, you know what, we're not going to even try to cut ties. We're just going to shut it down without trying to find someone to save it or recoup anything.
Is coffee
So
just kind of like a keyword for the fact that they're just having, or is caffeine and the title of the website just a keyword for them having coffee with Netflix? Because, knowing those two, they cancel everything in a heartbeat.
right. I mean, Caffeine, the idea was simple when it started for that platform. It
Mm-hmm.
was really more of an engagement to the audience.
Sure.
It when you interacted by chat, it was more visible. Um, but like much more visible than it is here with a chat screen. Um,
Oh,
but it
sure.
also
Okay.
defined how the stream was supposed to be run. Like running with the video game, sure, that's one thing. But running where your chat can literally go back and forth with each other and the streamer gets to see it too and interact with it, and then people like throwing in emojis and stuff. Like here you have how the emojis can bounce up on the screen itself and whatever. Caffeine did that before Twitch brought it over.
Oh, I see. And that,
That
I
was
mean,
like, a wild thing. And like,
even now, it's
now,
kind of a plug-in too sometimes, isn't it?
yeah, it's sometimes an optional plugin. But yeah, it's like, well, what is caffeine now? Like, well, what do you have? Like, well, we have a more interactable experience. Is that it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, now caffeine is pretty much gone. That's once again one less streaming platform. Heck, here's something that was a surprise to me. You heard of D Live?
God, that rings a bell.
I would say you should, because there was a streamer that promoted that one.
It looks familiar, but I never paid attention to it.
Yeah, it did come around initially, but yeah, it's a far cry for sure of what it used to be.
Really?
Like, even though I head to it right now, which this is surprisingly a bit more than there was the other day that I came on. But like, if you notice, the average views is like, it's still just only going less than 5. Here's the thing with D Live. They're trying to kind of up the numbers to make it seem like there's more people.
They're inflating, huh?
There is that, and there's also that if you have less than 5 viewers, they don't want to give a number because that would look bad. So they just put in instead less than 5 viewers.
Oh, so if it's even just 1, they say it's just less than 5.
If there's 0, it's still less than 5.
I mean, that's a fact. It is less than 5. If you're playing by the rules of math, yes.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you're correct,
exactly,
but
yeah, right. It's like, yep. I mean, you might as well just up the number and say less than 10.
You can't say they're wrong in that light.
No,
but
right.
It is completely incorrect to do.
Hey, we're talking about morals here. When it comes to making money, there's no such thing as morals.
Yeah, but it's like, I went through it and I was just like, true. Like, I went through it and I was just like, holy crap, it's still going. Yep. I didn't know it's still going.
That's crazy.
And so I checked to see if my account was still working, and yep, the account still works on there. And I'm like, huh. And I still had this extra bonus that's still sitting in my account. No one even tried to hack the site, because it didn't even have proper 2FA.
It's not worth it.
No. like I don't even know what I put for my password back then for the site. So it's like, if someone had it, like, it most likely wasn't a password that was common. So I'm like,
password 1 2 3.
If someone had it,
still didn't hack
congrats. you got it, and for what?
Right? Yeah. The most hilarious thing about Twitch view bots is that they do not follow
that's how
array,
insignificant. Like, that's really another insignificant talk. The way you have to think about it is that now the platform, it's still going, and
which is kind of surprising, actually.
Like, there's resources. Like, when is it shutting down?
It's like when that money tree dries up.
And it's like, okay, but until then, when it's about to shut down, like, and it's gonna have to happen, it's like, all right, do we want any of these people over at another streaming platform? Well, that's gonna be hard to tell, because you can't really tell much about the audience, especially as spread apart as this.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mixer all over again.
Yeah. But you see, at least Mixer, because that's it's actually part of the design philosophy of what Beam came into, is that they were trying to reach into a little bit of the to the old Beam, because remember that's what Mixer was called before it became Mixer. It was called Beam.
Okay.
The audience members, they're Beamers.
You know, I think I remember that.
Yeah. So so the only thing Beam doesn't have that Mixer had is the, well, currently it doesn't have the one-to-one streaming. But you know, today, right now, if you're in anything that's competitive, it's kind of a bad thing to have, unfortunately.
Sure.
We can basically blame the audience at this point that took away that kind of fun reason to have it in the first place.
My camera just started flashing at me.
One
I don't
of
know why.
Mixer's claim to fame about is like, you have to understand, the technology was so advanced. The fact that you could stream basically what's on your screen in the most like livest of difference from you to audience members without much of a hiccup, that you could actually make a plugin to play a fighting game with your audience members through the stream itself, not through, say, Steam or anything.
Yeah.
That's an incredible feat of technology.
Yeah.
That's what really its claim to fame back then. That was a differentiator.
Yeah, you're right. I think I remember hearing about that, and I was actually contemplating about moving over to Mixer at the time.
I was there for it, for that time. I had joined it. I got to talk with one of the developers from not Rockstar, Rocksteady.
Okay.
Yeah, Batman series.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I got to talk to one of the developers who just popped in when I was playing the second game.
Nice.
For my first time through, and just wanted to say, hey, it's interesting what you've been doing, what you're prepping for. And I'm like, this is cool that I get to talk with a developer for this, and they thought like my views were actually rather interesting while I was like playing the game, what I was talking about. And he even left when he was leaving. He wished me luck for like, all the game stuff that I was going through at the time. But like, that was just something you didn't expect to have happen. Like, well, this platform is not big, but obviously it's enough to get the notice of developers of big game companies.
Right.
So this could actually be something.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, Microsoft screwed it up.
Yeah. I think I actually got to use the restroom, but then we can end a little bit after this note here. But I think it was really surprising to see Mixer go down that path after I went to E3. I was attending like their little platform that they had there. It was actually a really cool place to go there. And like, it was quite the experience to see what Mixer was trying to do, and then 6 months later, hey, we're like killing Mixer. It's like, what the hell just happened?
That was one of those. This could be good or bad.
Yeah.
We have to kind of wait and see. And Microsoft said, yeah, it's bad, and it's like, well,
it's
okay,
way bad. It's like, oh no. It's like, hold on, where am I going now? Am I going to Twitch, or am I?
Yeah.
Am I going to YouTube? Where am I going? It's like, oh my gosh. It's like getting kicked out of your own house.
Sadly, that's what happened to some of the streamers too.
Oh yeah,
that were over there. I did keep up with a few of the streamers. There's still a few streamers that are still streaming that aren't currently on Twitch, but like there's been a few others that like about 6 months ago. They're done. They retired. They're no longer streaming. They're not planning to come back to streaming anymore. It's just like, you know what? We're ending on a high note at this point, and
right.
Like, you know, and their high note was that they had an
You're
average
going
of
to
like
the bathroom.
60
That's where
viewers.
you're going.
But like that's it. Like we're ending on a high note. I'm kind of tired. I'm done. That's
Yeah.
it. It's like okay.
Yeah. Especially having to rebuild everything on a different platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, and I don't blame them. So like, go ahead, retire. You know, you did your job, but obviously at this point, like where you started was like this is more of a passion thing, and now it's like it's not fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then go ahead, end on that high note.
Right.
I'll respect it.
Right. Right. Definitely.
Like
Well,
like
hey,
don't stream for money only. Just have the passion, and that's
yeah.
what I wanted to get out of it for saying towards the end. And I'm sorry that took so long to get
No,
there.
no, that's all right.
But
No, I appreciate that you were sharing information about your, your knowledge about Beacon and what you've gone through, and you've been in the streaming, I guess, streaming limelight.
I've been a streamer since 2014.
See, a lot.
Yeah, I'm old. I get it. Everybody's free to say that.
I'd say you're more like a veteran than you are old. Hey, now how's it going, Reggie? The Facebook game stream is death too. I think that's
It's still going
around.
actually.
Yeah,
it's still going.
Surprisingly,
I actually had to test if the streaming worked on Facebook, and it does.
Wow, it's still. I mean, it's still alive.
It's still alive, both on regular and pages. There is a trick to it for the gaming side.
Last week was mid, but I'm good now.
In my opinion,
pretty much
if you're going to be streaming on Facebook, chances are you're going to be from a country that isn't America.
Yeah. I think if I were to go anywhere else other than, if I were to leave Twitch and put my platform somewhere else, I mean, if I'm not, we'll put Beacon out of the way here, but if I were to move somewhere else and focus on just one place, it would I think it would be YouTube. I think that's where I would go versus like Kick, or there's another one that so there's a guy who used to stream. I followed him on Twitter, and I think he moved over as like a spokesperson for this. Is it Trollo? Is that the one?
Trovo.
Yeah, Trovo. And so he was kind of like giving me a heads up, like, hey, we're kind of starting things off over here, and
Trovo has revamped, and it's still technically, from what I've seen looking at it, because I also had to test multi streaming out, like restream feature to as many platforms as I could to see if there was any issues with
Hitbox?
And yeah, I could. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, and it's just a bunch of other people from different countries.
European on over. That's really the expectations for that one.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And it's a lot like the other platform, Hitbox, that Nails was talking about. That was also very unwelcoming of Americans.
So if you were to try streaming on there, they just kind of kick you out.
Also
and
on the streaming of Trovo, there's something that they added on as well, for like a token thing as well, and it's like, after a certain amount of time, it seems like you're expected to kind of dump some of these tokens in towards having a higher quality stream or something like that.
Oh God!
But also
really?
For your audience members to kind of really participate in, and it somehow seems like there's like a requirement of like how many treasure tokens that they need to continue it each month, and if they don't have to have it, then they have to like pay into getting enough of that treasure tokens.
Oh God!
And I'm
that sounds horrible.
I don't understand
that
it.
Sounds
like
horrible.
All these rules make no sense.
I don't like that at all, man.
No.
Oh jeez. All right. Well, 15 seconds before the ad starts, so I'm gonna go run to the bathroom. But hey, I appreciate the conversation. We can definitely continue it off stream or another time. But yeah, that's actually really good insight on just the directions of like where to go and what to do. And like I said, I don't stream a lot, but trying to get big.
Yeah.
So.
And as I said, like all I want out of it is that if you enjoy Beam, and the audience enjoys Beam, let it be something that can also make a statement to the other platforms like, hey, let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to what streaming was truly about.
I agree. And I mean, you're the right-hand man who's kind of managing and taking care of these things. So getting the information from you is just as helpful. So appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you for having me for this unexpected guest stream.
Yeah, right? No, I appreciate it. Thanks, Sam. We're going to have to do that from now on with other people.
Right?
All right, man. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Okay, bathroom. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Are we back? Everything's back. Ad starts back in 30 minutes. Okay, cool. Zap, thank you for that information, man. I appreciate it. I didn't see that coming. Wait, what's going on? Zap. And by wet, I mean rain wet. What are you talking about, man? I do wash my hands. That's nasty. Y'all are nasty. Thank you, Carrot. It was fast. You know, I actually had a lot to I had to pee a lot, so say that was fast. You know, not washing your hands and seeing people in like public bathrooms just kind of like walk away after they use the bathroom. It makes me not want to like shake hands with anybody that I see out there. But Zap, thank you for that. It was a out of the blue interview conversation. We try to ignore that, right? So thank you for sharing that information. Yeah, and like you said, like I haven't fully looked into it because I've just been so busy, but I think I'll consider it definitely with just the options and opportunities, and you know, having the multi-platform streaming option and you can stream wherever you want to. I mean, it only makes sense that if you're doing it here, you can do it there too, and I think that's the neat thing about it. And I'm gonna have to look into it a little bit more because I have a setup on my OBS, but if I'm just using Beam, I guess Beam is then gonna move it towards other places too then. So I don't know why I called it Beacon. I think I get it mixed up between Beam and Beacon Max that they have for services. So, but yes, cool. No, thank you again. Renji, Rue, you guys were talking about my hair, so I cut it. I had cut it today. You know, male pattern baldness is the thing, if you guys aren't aware of that. And I am balding. Like it's hands down. Like my hairline's receding. I decided, like, with the hair that I had that was growing, it just wasn't working, and like also my hair was breaking too. And my hair has gotten thin. It's thinned out a bit, so talking with my wife the past few days, we were talking about, maybe it's better to cut it. Maybe it's better to, we were thinking about, rather than just cutting it all off, we were going to style it. But then we're like, you know what? The whole purpose is to kind of just get a fresh new set of like hair. Like, it's been a year and a half that I had cut my hair, and it's just been there. And it's like, my wife actually, she trimmed it over the weekend saying, hey, that looks a bit healthier. But then looking at it again, we were like, it'd probably be better to just get rid of it all. There's a feature coming that the audience will be able to control multiple cameras. Ooh, I mean, I got that camera. I got that camera. I have that camera. But I don't think I'm going to be letting them control. I mean, they could control this one. I was going to work on that eventually one day, but never got around to it, where you guys could then command and tell, this camera to kind of move about. Yeah, I got the headphone dead. Yeah, I think it's the hair. I kind of feel it a little bit. Now you're looking like an Asian Paul from Paul's Hardware. It's the sideburns, there we go. I mean, I'm a beamer, as Kier also generously pointed out. I haven't a clue on what you're talking about. There's a more obvious boulder spot on the top of head on video recordings. Yeah, it's going away. It's going away. It's lighter here too. I can see it. I know it's happening. It's just grow it out and enjoy it as much as you can. That's basically all I can do. There's really nothing else I can do. I've been reading. Like I said months ago, I was reading on things where it's like, red light, and you can buy a little helmet that shines red LED lights on your head, and that red light apparently helps with hair growth. Some people have done 6 months differences, because it takes a while, and he said they did notice that there was more hair growth coming in versus not using it. And I said, okay. There's some proof to it, because there were pictures and before and afters, but I'm like, for the price of that, it kind of makes it a little bit worth it, but I'm not sure if it's like, it might work for some and not work for others, all that stuff. Pressing X to doubt. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's really no solid solution to hair loss, that's for sure, and I'm not willing to spend money to try it out. I mean, dig into the science behind it. I mean, yeah, I that's one thing that I always was trying to look into, is like, okay, what is causing it? What can you do to prevent it from happening? Is it lack of vitamins that you usually get every day? But then again, kids themselves don't get a lot of the vitamins that they're supposed to be getting every day. So what accounts for that? And granted, yes, as you get older, things just kind of start to go. Vision, hearing, allergies kick in, all that stuff. So maybe it's just your body just getting older, and your cells are just aging. I don't. And then you find the elixir of life, and you drink that and survive. I don't know. And then you can grow all the hair you want and look like Fabio. Wish I could look like Fabio. The hair, not look like him, but the hair. It's all about the hair. So, but yeah. So as Zab was talking, I was going to try to fix this, and I realized that I don't have the right tool for this. It's supposed to be a tri-wing screwdriver, and I thought I had the right ones, and I don't. So I ordered some. I'll probably be doing this on Thursday, just kind of replacing this, because this guy doesn't work anymore. It doesn't click in, because my daughter broke it. And this was the collector's Animal Crossing edition. That's the one that we have, and I bought a case for it. I think I told you guys this at the time. I bought a case for it for them to use. There it is, the Nintendo Switch with, as you can see, the reflections. There's Animal Crossing on it. And she was walking without the case, and I don't know how she did this in the hallway, but I guess she lost control of holding on to it, and it flipped this way and landed right on the hard floor, which it's not hardwood floor, It's concrete. It is concrete. So yeah, been meaning to fix that, just never did. Soul Sand, I know. IEPC Master Race. I doubt you'll find anything conclusive that we have wavelength of the red that the right wavelength of the red light is doing anything in a double-blind clinical test. You're gonna put in a Hall effect joystick. I just so happen to have the knowledge about it. Wait, what is a Hall effect joystick? Soul Sand is right, Reggie. I was a little bit upset about it, but I was like, you know what? Kids be kids. Soft disbursement of energy is not possible. Oh, give me a second to give you a link. Okay. At least the screen didn't crack, and I was fortunate too, and I put a little screen protector on it just to prevent anything else from going wrong with it. So it's still intact, it's still working, it's still good. We actually have 2 Nintendo Switches. We have a Switch Lite that my sister and brother-in-law got for them for Christmas, was it? And then I said, you know what? They can't play multiple players on the Switch Lite, so let's get the actual Switch. And it was for me too. So we have 2 versions. The other version actually just sits there and kind of collects dust. And not because they don't let them play it, it's because they don't get their stuff done to be rewarded to play. Non-following Amazon. A Gillikit Switch Joycon joystick replacement. No drifting. Hall effect joystick. So Hall effect means what then? Which fundamentally solves the problem of ALPS joystick drift. Gillikit Switch joystick also can solve worn, out of control, and insensitive analog joysticks. Oh, and they actually give you the tri-wing screwdriver too. That's convenient for $22.99. The sad thing about it is I already have Joy-Con controllers, thumbsticks. So this would be me double buying everything, because I just ordered the tri-wing screwdriver too right when I was during the stream. I'll put this on my wish list though. I appreciate that. It's magnetic effectively, but it is also self-correcting. That's nice. I haven't noticed the drift. At least I don't think I have, but I don't play it often enough, so I can't say for sure. But that's neat that somebody found a solution in a way where it would prevent it. Patented low power technology provides only 50% power of original carbon film joystick for more power saving and longer gaming session. Really? Neat. Yeah, eventually, like I said, Thursday we'll probably just replace it and see if this works. I'm hoping that it does work the way I want it to. We'll see where that goes. Hall effect was discovered by Edwin Hall in 1879. Where do you know this stuff, Care? Do you just search it, or are you an encyclopedia, man? Is that what you are? Wikipedia. Of course, Wikipedia. Do you donate to them too? You're always seeing that pop up of asking for donations, which, I mean, okay. I'm not saying that you know, like, yeah, you should donate or you shouldn't donate, because I don't donate. I should donate more, but also providing, you know, support for whomever. But I also read about it a few months ago. Oh, really? What are the chances, man? And while Zap was talking to me, don't mind me, I was launching Unreal Engine because, like I said earlier in the stream, I've just felt like I haven't really been as productive as I want to. So what I've done instead is gone back to my old videos of stuff that I've what is it, like videos of courses. I way back when, before I even started streaming, I had gone down the path of saying, hey, I'm gonna go and develop games again and kind of do my own thing and learn how to code. And so it was like a twofer. This class was teaching you how to build a game under the Unreal Engine and then also program under it. And this was before Unreal Engine 5 came out, way before Unreal Engine 5 came out. And so now, what the nice thing about this Udemy course is that it updates. So when there's new versions of Unreal out, they change their content. So you can always reuse the content, the courses, and that's really nice. So I said to myself, you know what? I want to do something where we're going to be able to just chill, hang out, and I'm doing content. I'm building something, playing around with it, and do stuff like that. I also have a course for Blender, so I want to get back into that, and that was something I wanted to do. Okay, and I hate having to say this, but this is it always makes me feel like bad to say this because you guys know what happened last year, but I wanted to do all of this last year. This was my goal of doing this stuff. And like I was saying earlier before we jumped in, Zap and talked about streaming and streaming services. I've been just in a slump. And so I'm trying to get back into doing this stuff so then I can kind of move forward with what I wanted, just in general, moving forward somewhere, because I feel like I'm just going nowhere. You could also get a screw set ordered that can be Philips. Oh, okay. Chances were high as I was educating myself about magnetic keyboard switches. Ooh, okay. When I got my Joycon case replacement, I also got a set of Philips head screws to make it easier to lock in. Oh, really? Huh. That's nice. Yeah, these things, I mean, I get it. It's for security reasons, or more or less like proprietary. So if you can't open it, you take it to a store and they'll do it for you. I don't know what the whole purpose of that is. Maybe they don't want it broken. Maybe they don't want you taking it apart and then having to bring it back and say, hey, this isn't working right. Or it's all proprietary stuff that they don't want you knowing about. I don't know. Whatever mindset and reason they have, whatever. But yeah, so that's why you guys saw me kind of working with this. I had my course, my class, not my course, but I had my intro project warehouse. I had this launched and it was part of one of the courses. So I'm just kind of following the blueprints is what Unreal uses. It's basically kind of like coding, but visually with a GUI. And you're just dropping things into nodes and whatnot. And we're supposed to be making a warehouse and then shooting cannonballs out of our faces, apparently, more or less. So I actually looking at it, I was like, oh, this looks like it could be like a pretty cool, like human-sized cannon, like, or a pinball machine that you could play. But I mean, I'm gonna go off with this and see where it takes me. I'm just trying to just do stuff, and I feel like my content is very stale. And I'm not saying that you guys watch a stale streamer. But I feel like what I do here, it just isn't enough to bring in viewers, and I'm just trying things, and just bear with me. I know you guys have been here just because it's me, and the content that I have brought and who I am as a person. If it's none of that, just go ahead and comment and let me know, so then I can just use those next time. He's an asshole, this is why I watch him. He's not that funny, this is why I watch him. Stuff like that. But Torx is mechanically the best. I will only accept sound arguments. Philips is kind of is not really good. I like Torques. I prefer the Torques too. Torques are nice. But going off of that, that's why I wanted to. When you said Torques, I was like, wait, I think that's what it is, and I had to search it. But that's why I'm just kind of doing things. Going back to the conversation with my mentor, we were talking about that. The approach that I was trying to take, or the amount of followers that I was trying to bring in for my social media, it wasn't going anywhere. And like I said, it was tough because I'm busy. I'm a dad, you know. I had even told my mentor that I was like, you know, I haven't even been able to take out my equipment and just start making music. And he's like, man, what's stopping you? And I told him, I was just like, there are days where I'm just like, you know what, I just want to chill. I just want to relax. I think I'm just tired overall of doing what I've been doing, and it's going nowhere, and I just needed a break. And just like, you know, just I feel like when I'm playing games, and no offense, I'm a video gamer, but don't take offense to this, but when I'm playing games right now, I feel like I'm just wasting my time. As bad as that sounds, and you know, it could be true. I mean, you do what you do for entertainment and enjoyment, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna ding you for somebody who plays video games and, you know, whatnot. But playing video games consistently all the time and not going anywhere, I think that's more of like a kind of like a reality check there. That's what I feel like, at least. Beep beep. You did say you will only accept sound arguments. And you're not even a dad, Zap. What the hell, man? What is this? But so that's why I'm kind of just trying to do things differently. And this week and for the next few streams, I think we're just gonna try to do just chill, just chatting, hanging out, talking about content, talking about tech stuff. Like, speaking of tech stuff, what was I gonna say too? Dang, I was gonna bring something up that we had talked that Zap was mentioning, and it popped up in my head. I think it was more technology than it was. Let me just look in my history here. I don't even think it's in my history. Oh, what was it that it was gonna be a great conversation too, but nope, it jumped out of my head. Yep, there it goes. Yo, Zero for Hero, what did you break? I didn't break anything. I broke my mentality on just content creation and just trying to get somewhere with what I was thinking about doing. I'm an old beamer. I've accepted that role. I've become the role. Yeah, that works. How you doing, Zero? Leave the room and come back. The idea might come back to you. No, I don't think so. It was a topic that I wanted to discuss, but I just forgot about it. It just popped in my head. Anime, tech talk, fixing my broken Joycon. No. It was tech related, I think. Here I am thinking like tech related, but I can't even come up with whatever tech I was talking about. Oh well, it'll come back to me one day. I should write it down when it does. I'm at that point where, like, if an idea pops in my head, I should write it down. I'm even at the point where there are times where I'm just making sounds and making music in my head, and I'm like, this beat kind of sounds nice, I should write it down. But then I'm not a writer. I don't make music to the point where if I think of a rhythm in my head, I can put it down. I'd actually have to play it out. And I don't have time for that. Anyone interested in the game Once Human and wants a code for the beta? Once Human? Didn't I hear that? What do we got here? Once Human is a multiplayer open. Why am I searching on my browser? Oh well. Once Human is a multiplayer open world survival game set in a strange post-apocalyptic future. Unite with friends to fight monstrous enemies, uncover secret plots, compete for resources, and build your own territory. Now the thought popped in my head. Once you were merely human, now you have the power to remake the world. Huh. I don't know how to say this. I think a lot of survival games is redundant. I think it has to come with more content. Like I'm seeing a part in this where like you're actually fighting, like they look like ghosts. It looks interesting. I think the style and the graphics looks decent. I don't have the music on or the sound on, so. And I don't even have my headphones on, but. See, this one actually looks like it would pull me in a bit more. I think the thing about survival games nowadays is the fact that it's just repetitive, like raw survival, like pick up a rock and you're using that, like Sons of the Forest, or The Forest. That is kind of like the whole raw idea of what a survival game is, and I think I've gotten too numb to that, where I don't want to play a game where I have to go find a rock and then slowly build up again in a different game over and over again. I think that's the problem for me. Like I get stuck in that where I'm like, I don't want to do that again in a different game. And granted, I know I like survival games. Survival games are great. Building your own house and all this stuff, it's pretty neat. Like that's one of the games that was one idea that I had back then before Fortnite came out, and now they're all over the place, and I'm just like, same thing, just different skin. You know? And it's like, can you do something different that would pull me in on wanting to play it? Like State of Decay was probably one that was pretty neat. Not as big in survival and like scavenging for items and stuff, but pull in a different story, add something different to it, make it more unique than other ones that are out there, and you'll catch my eye. I think that's one thing that we need to do. There's a lot of games that are out there that are just like, hey, it's kind of a copycat of one another, and you're like, oh, I'll play this game. You're doing the same thing over and over again. You just realize, why am I doing this again in a different game? Realize you're playing someone's twisted game of The Sims. Sounds like the end of Evangelion. There's an actually psychological phenomenon called the doorway effect. It's more known to have one forget something as they move from one room to the next. You know, I had that conversation with my old coworker. She said she'd go into one room trying to do something and forgot what she was going to do, and come back and be like, what was I going to do again? And then realized that she went into a different room, that this is what she was going to do. What if you can catch Pokemon in a survival game? Oh, you mean the one that came out called Pal World? And I'm not gonna get that game. As much as many people have said it's a great game, it's a fun game, I don't think the game is for me. I like Pokemon, but I've never finished any of the Pokemon games. I like survival, but I can't see a survival game where I'm using Pokemon to do my bidding. And again, survival games are just a bit redundant for me, where I don't want to start another one. I don't want to end up on another island or another world, another place with just a hatchet and then surviving and building from that all over again. I think the situation would have to be like, I don't know. I think the story has to be very, very strong for me to say I would want to play that. I would want to survive or try to survive in that story, in that world. That's why you run a server and have friends join. Like what you have, right, Zap? Now, oh, so the topic that I wanted to bring up was video games going to TV. So Fallout just came out on Amazon Prime, and my wife and I decided to watch the first few episodes of it. I'll admit, it's actually pretty decent. It's more of a thriller horror, not horror, but thriller action. I mean, if you guys have played Fallout, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. My wife was weirded out the fact that the vaults that they first star in they have in the first episode is like they're having conversations of like, but you're my cousin, and she's like, well, that's really weird. And I had to explain to her like, well, you know, if you think about it, you're in a vault for over 200 years. You have a few generations passed down. These are people that you're stuck living with. You're never going to see anybody else. You're going to end up breeding. And she's like, well, you know what, it's like, what if it was like, you know, this couple and then they have their kids, and that couple, or the, you know these people, they meet up, they have their kids, and these people meet up and they have their kids. I was like, yeah, and then what are their kids going to do? They're going to meet up and have their kids then, you know, and have kids of their own. Pretty soon everybody's going to be related. Either way, you're stuck. So if you guys haven't seen that, I'll admit it's actually a decent show so far. I'm curious to see how it'll play out, and I think we're gonna watch the whole thing. There's a lot behind cousin stuff. I'm going to wait for Pale World to release out of early access. I just can't get myself to jump into games I can't finish. I think that is one of my biggest flaws about playing games, and I think it's because of lack of time. Like, you know, the game industry is so saturated with games, either mobile games, either, you know, platform games, console games, or PC games. You look at it and you'll see them everywhere. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and remake. I mean, there's a mobile game called Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, and it basically, I downloaded it because I was like, oh, Final Fantasy, let's see how this is. I played it, and the first 5 minutes is you watching the opening cutscene or the opening cinematic of Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's exactly the same thing, and then it cuts and it turns into basically the old Final Fantasy VII game. You got Cloud, you got, you know, Barrett, and they got the clunky look on it, which is so iconic. I love it. However, I'm like thinking to myself, if I really didn't care about the experience of Final Fantasy VII Remake and just wanted to experience the story, that's what Ever Crisis is. You're just paying for skins and all this additional stuff, and like, it's unique to see that, but at the same time, it's just a cut and paste story of Final Fantasy. Different game style, different gameplay. But it was like, I was like, I'm basically playing the same thing over again, and I didn't want that at first, like in the end. Eventually I was playing it, and then I realized, you know what, I'm just playing the same thing. I might as well just go on my computer and play Remake, you know. And I understand that sometimes they make this game so then it's easier to play on mobile. Not everybody plays PC games or console games, so everybody's got a phone. Let's just make it mobile. And like, there's that conversation right at the very beginning. AAA companies wanted to make profit of what mobile games make, and there it goes back to that whole thing too. Who was it? It was a former Blizzard, was it a former Blizzard CEO? And he's talking about how developers should get tipped, or how gamers should tip developers after they complete a game. that makes no sense to me. You guys want to have that conversation? Let's have that conversation. I'm willing to have that conversation. It is the stupidest idea ever. Why is AMD auto updating all of a sudden? What are you doing, AMD? What? Why are you updating? What the hell? What? Honestly, I've never seen that happen. But then again, my drivers are test drivers. That's weird. You know what I laughed about with that one? What's that? Maybe your wife figured out and that's why she was weirded out by it. I mean, like, I understand, like, maybe she was weirded out by it. That it was like, what? Like, cousin? Like, weird. Like, I think it was just the, you know, the fact that it's cousins. No one had that thought. You want to support it, you buy a copy to give to someone. Yeah, I mean, right. That's the only thing I can think. Like, look, so my wife and I, we had the conversation of that. We said, if I go into a restaurant and I'm ordering food, I'm paying for the food. The service is extra. The service is there to kind of make it a pleasant experience. In no way should I have to tip somebody, or is it a requirement? But in today's world, with how the pandemic has been, everybody's expected to get tipped, or you basically call them out on social media. It doesn't make sense. Like, I understand, yes, maybe you were really good, and you can look at it from both sides of the fence. You know, being the person that is there to have a good meal and get treated like, okay, you need your water, cool. Like, I think the basics of being a waiter is provide the service of what a person needs when they are going out to eat. You need water? Let me give you water. You should be drinking water. You need silverware? You need, condiments? Yeah, I'll provide the condiments. But in no way should I have to pay more than what I should be doing. Like, if I'm like, okay, you know what, I'll give you a 15% tip. Not tipping would be like, hey, you didn't do a great job. I understand that. Tipping is more of a, you know, it's there, and I think the problem there is like my wife said, if you're not paying your employees what they should be paid because you want to cheap out on it, that's on you. You shouldn't expect your customers to pay for that. It's like this. I'm not gonna go to a Target and all of a sudden tip the cashier. Should I be tipping the cashier? He's providing services of ringing me up and putting stuff in the bag and then putting it in my cart. Should I be tipping him? Her? They also said that you don't own the games you buy from them. You're just renting the license to play it. They say that, but then who's ever gonna come to you and say, hey, I want that game bag that you bought? They don't know who bought these. They have no idea. Are they gonna go to? Can they go to a brick and mortar store and be like, hey, give me all the receipts of the people that bought my game, and I'm going to track them down? How do they do that? I think it's just a way of them saying that, you know, they can't come after you. What am I gonna do? I can't. I mean, I copy them, but I mean, I'm not going to. We as a consumer shouldn't have to even think about tipping devs. It's the CEO's job to properly compensate devs. Exactly, 150%. There is no both sides. Tipping culture is mostly US based due to low wages. I like that argument as well. I don't pay attention to other countries, unfortunately. Yes, I'm ignorant. I'm sorry. I'll admit it. I'm ignorant of other countries, you know, daily lifestyles. So sadly, with the rise of live service games, once the servers go down, the game is gone forever. Yeah, no, like hands down. I'm kind of, that's one of the things I hate seeing is like you pay for a $60 now $70 game and it's live service. It's only multiplayer. The only reason people buy the game is because it's multiplayer and it's online. Well, what happens when the servers go offline? You just paid $60 for this game that you can't play anymore. What the hell are you supposed to do with it? You can't create a server unless somebody comes up with the basics of the server. But no, I don't think tipping should even, like Kier said, it's mostly US based. And it's like, okay, like, and that's what my wife said. She had like exactly what I said. If there's a tip jar in front of a cashier at a store, what? That makes no sense to me. And it goes back to the whole argument that I had with Zap, or not the argument, but the point that I made out with Zap was that eventually the world is going to come down to the point where you have to pay for every freaking thing, you know? And the day that happens, I have no idea how people are going to live. It is, I mean, just the thought of it and thinking about it is like, oh, okay. But the thinking about it become something real. That's where you're going, oh shit. I don't think I could see the world like that, and I don't think people would survive in the world like that. When I visited the UK about 10 years ago and tipped at a bar, I got strange looks from patrons and the bartender was confused. Tipping didn't happen when I visited Japan either. Everything has a service charge. It's not supposed to. I understand, like, again, there are fees in order to keep certain services alive. You're paying for the technology, you're paying for internet, you're paying for electricity. That's all required in order for you to stay afloat. It's just like a restaurant. I get it. It's a business. You need to pay for your bills in order to provide the service. However, if everything becomes a service, even when it doesn't need to be, that's when it's that borderline what the fuck, like Cyberpunk, like the anime. Like, you need to pay extra just in order to see your loved one. What? You gotta be fucking shitting me. I'm not gonna pay for that shit. I have every right to see the person that is part of my life, that I've managed to build a life with and live together for X amount of years. Like, that's the human right. At that point, when things are a cost for just the simplest of stuff, that's not living anymore. I'm just a person that's supposed to be providing money to companies so then they can live and survive. I am just a fucking product now. I am a byproduct of their products. Be upfront with their pricing. I think that makes sense. But I think when that comes to that point, that's when you know, okay, is it really the companies that need to charge you because it's a fee and then they need their services to run, so they need that money? Or is it greed? You know? Or is it, you know, they're just another, you know, person caught in the web of whatever person is above them that's just making money off of them, you know? I think money's a good thing and a bad thing. I was talking to my wife the other day and I said, you know, it'd be great to just, like, I would miss all the technology, but to just live and not have to worry about working or having to pay for something. Basically live in the wilderness, or live, hell, I think somewhere more tropical and warmer. Granted, yes, there's a shit ton of other things that you'd be running into for problems, but I think life would be easier and people would be a lot happier that way. Less stuff to worry about. I find it annoying that you even have to pay a percentage to get your money out of some ATMs, right? It's like, oh, for the service that we have for you, because, you know, you put your money in our bank, we're going to charge you $2.50 or $3, up to $3, because you're servicing, or, you know, our services that you're using need to be covered. That's when the ATM you're using isn't from the bank card you're taking money out of. I mean, I get that, but even then, it's like, really? Like, you come up you come up with the idea of like, let's make this convenient for our consumers, but at the same time I gotta make money too, because I want to provide this ease of access for you, and in order for you to use that, I need money to keep it alive. So if you want convenience, let me charge you for the convenience. Is it a convenience fee then? Is that what they're calling it? It's just a convenience fee. It's like when you go to the gas station down the road because you didn't want to go to the actual grocery store. So you're paying $5 for like one pack of, you know, saltine crackers when you can buy a 4-pack for half the price. Is that what we're doing now? I don't know. I don't like that. No matter how much you make, there's always someone waiting to take a percentage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Uncle Sam. The Queen. I don't know. It's, you know, you try not to think much about it. You don't think much about it. It's obviously not on your mind every day, but when you sit there and you finally just settle down and go, okay, what is the world going to look like 50 years from now? And you go, holy shit, I can't imagine. What are my kids going to be doing 50 years from now? What's going to happen 100 years from now, 150 years from now? Where's the world going to be? Is there even going to be a world? You know, like, stuff that makes you think about like things like that, and you're like, I don't know if I like that. At the same time, I have no control over it, and some people just don't care then. The government wants a cut every time money changes hands. Yeah. Use USAA's banking card. There is an issue of qualifying for it though. No ATM fees. Oh, okay. Yeah, isn't it USAA like basically you have to be in the military or a form of service for the government, for the military, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force? You have to be a veteran. You have to have private sergeant, corporal in your name. Well, I think we got carried off on that point though, but yeah. Yeah, you have to have served. Yeah. That's what my old company was trying to do. Like, they were trying to go off of like the model of USAA to provide those services to their customers. And I understand, like, USA, they say USAA's got one of the best like services with whatever they have offered, and so they wanted to have that same mindset of being able to provide that. Why is this update window still up? I'm confused here. Just gonna close it. What are we playing? We're actually not playing anything. We're just chilling. We're just gonna chill talk. That's what we're doing tonight. It's already 12:13 in the morning. I had no plans of playing. I was just gonna sit here and have conversations with you guys. I was gonna try to fix my Joycon here, but then I don't have the right tool, so that's out of the question. So we're just chatting. Anyways, back to tipping devs. Still no for me. Right. That's where we were, right? No, I would not tip a dev. I would not tip anybody who doesn't deserve to be tipped. Even at the point of looking at the US, and as Kara had pointed out, it's more of a US thing about tipping. Why are you paying your employees $3 an hour or whatever, and then say, well, you know, you got to make your money off of tips? Here's the thing: if I provide service for somebody as a waiter, and I go like above and beyond like servicing. I get you water, I make sure you're good, you know, all that stuff. Come back, double check on you, you know, whatever I can to make you feel like this is a really nice place to be in. Do all that, and then all of a sudden, what happens? I don't get tipped. What is that gonna do to my mindset? What is that gonna do to my mental health, my behavior? I'm gonna be pissed. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? Are you serious? Like, I think that's what happened the other day. I was ordering something from a restaurant. Unfortunately, it was raining at the time, and we went to curbside pickup, and the person came out. She seemed pretty generous and everything, but she was just there to give me my food. And so she gave me the receipt, and it was like, oh yeah, there's a tip section to it. Who am I tipping? The person that came out to give me my food? Like, isn't that part of your job to go out there and just tip? Like, if you go above and beyond, like maybe, you know, you I don't know, you put my food in a bag that's waterproof, you kept it warm or whatever. I don't know. I can't even think of any reason why I would tip somebody extra. But I didn't tip them. I don't know if she saw that or she didn't see that, but then when I gave her the receipt, granted, she wanted me to sign it as she stood there out in the rain without an umbrella with a pen that sucked. So I was trying to write down everything and trying to, you know, sign the paper, which still doesn't make sense to me because why is that curbside and then you have to sign? But anyways, there's some places that you don't have to sign, but moving forward beyond that, I'm thinking small here. She looked pissed, like I ruined her night. And she just kind of like, she took the receipt, she didn't say anything, she looked upset, disappointed. And I'm like, don't take this job expecting to get tips all the time. Don't go into this job thinking that that's what you're gonna get. I hear people back then, you know, before the pandemic, you know, people would get tipped very well. People would get tipped out of the blue, $1,000 or whatever, and you hear those stories and all that. But here's the thing: it's not a requirement to tip. Life sucks sometimes, yeah. I got kind of angry when I found out the USVA has a $300 billion budget every year. Is that the veterans thing? 300 billion? How are the veterans not getting service and provided adequate health care? I know some of you guys here served and you guys are dealing with shit like this. That doesn't make sense. I can tell you who doesn't benefit from it. Who's that? It's because of our healthcare system. Oh yeah, there is that. You know, I think the downfall of everything is just you take your positives and your negatives and you outweigh them. And then you kind of be like, okay, well, these are the negatives, and you just deal with it. I don't think there should be a negative. If it comes to the point where mankind or humankind has evolved far enough where we're trying to aim for the stars now, don't you think that we should be okay on our planet first before you go and take some other goddamn planet and think that you're going to like live off of it? That just to me tells me that you're going to populate that world based off of what you think you should be doing, what you think should be right. And I don't think the people that had the money to do that in the first place are even thinking about the good things, even the benefits or whatever for mankind or humankind. I think they're just there to make a buck, a quick buck. I would prefer to have all the benefits and all the positives of all the countries and then put into one. great healthcare system, great government, all that. It should just be all rolled into one. And it goes into this whole utopia feeling, but I'm not gonna go into that conversation. I don't really want to. But I feel like that's just, it's not, I mean, it's not for me, but I think it's for everybody in general. Like, just having a better life, a better quality of life. That's what everybody's just looking for. Make your voice heard. Vote in local elections. I would run for election on certain things, but I don't have the politics knowledge, nor do I have. I mean, some people, they run for governor, and they don't even have the right mindset sometimes. But I feel like, I don't know. You can only say so much. Everybody has a right to their own opinions to an extent. But when people don't side with you, they'll definitely side against you. They'll definitely make it known that they'll be siding against you. There's a lot to do with those in charge prioritizing those who don't belong here over those who gave up their life to protect it. 110%. Yeah. I just don't get it sometimes. We're getting really deep in the whole life talk stuff here, but yeah. You guys want to talk about video games again? I'm not trying to complain. I'm not trying to like gripe about stuff. But when you look at the big picture and you look at everything overall, you kind of makes you realize, you're like, wow, things could be a lot better if there were the right people in place. Fallout 4 is getting a high definition patch. It's funny. Fallout 4 is on sale right now for like, I think the collector's edition is on sale for like $10, and then the base game's on sale for $5 right now. Yeah, I bought it. I didn't even have the game. I forgot. And guess what? This guy was sitting there in the show, and this is from Fallout 3. This is the original Fallout 3. There's a scratch on it. Yep. Is that a scratch or is that a marker? I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a scratch. This guy, I was curious on how much this guy was going for on just online. This dude is going for, and granted, like, it's what it's set as. It's not necessarily people buying it, but this thing's going for like $100 on eBay. Yeah, this Vault Boy. Damn, so cute. The Vault Boy, right? This guy is going for $100. I had the lunchbox too. The lunchbox is sitting in storage. I should probably take that out and put it out here. But yeah, this is my Vault Boy bobblehead that's been sitting in storage for years, and I just finally took him out. I should have just kept him in there because I'm like, oh man, he's gonna get discolored from the sun, but I don't even open the window that much. With just the sunlight shining through, it's gonna damage it. But this is the Vault Boy. What are you guys looking forward to getting next? Game wise, I am looking at getting Ghost of Tsushima on PC. I'm excited for that game. It came out on PS5, but I don't have a PS5. I heard it's a great game. I'd love to play it. So when it comes out, I think I'm looking to get that game. I don't know if I'm going to get it right away, but I would like to get that game. Sell it now, buy it back for less when interest dies down. Same. Oh yeah, yeah. Have you played it, Zap? Or are you still are you like me who just decided to hold out and wait for PCs when it came out on PC? You know, I'm hoping it gets higher in cost or price when you look at these guys. I've seen other ones from other companies that make like, I think there was like a set where it's like, oh look, there's 23 that you can buy, and they have like different poses and such things like that. But I'm like, that's not the same as like the original. Like this is the original. Like I don't have PS. Yeah, I've thought about getting a PS5, but like like I said to myself, I'm like, I probably wouldn't play it a lot. If it had a VR headset, maybe I would. But the PS5 itself, I mean, I don't even touch my PS4 a lot anymore. Most of the games I'm getting are now just getting it on PC, and that that led to me feeling bad because like I used to play console games, and then like as my wife would sleep or lay in bed and watch her show, I could sit next to her or lay next to her on bed and then like play my games. I don't do that anymore, and I feel bad, and I was like, I should look into getting something like a handheld console or a handheld PC. I don't know what to get. And I'm not saying that I'm going to get it right now, but I was actually debating on like, okay, Steam Deck or the Ally from Asus. But I heard that the Ally has problems with the micro SD card slot. It overheats. I don't know if they ever fixed it. At the same time, this is probably like the time when it released last year, so I'm holding off. I'm like, what if there's a new version that comes out? And then I heard that Lenovo one is actually pretty good, but they say the Ally is the best one out there. Only problem is the micro SD card. And I'm talking to you guys with the mic, and I'll wait till I'll wait until the ad's done. That's what we should do. In Zoe trailer. Okay, let's see her. What? Hold on. Oh wow, Care, I didn't even see your messages about drill open the Joycon. Get it free from Amazon Prime. Alright, don't get the first, just use the Switch behind you. Oh, you want me to bootleg it? Don't get the first gen of these handheld consoles. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I would love to get one so that I can play my games while I'm just sitting there hanging out with my wife. That's the only reason why I'm thinking about getting one. It's not because I mean, like, I could take it places and play my Steam games or any other game if I have a non-Steam Deck. But I'm like, which one's the better one? So I managed to get a Micro Center, go to a Micro Center the first time about 2 weeks ago, and I tried the Field, the Legion Go. Did you like it? My wife's cousin, or not a cousin, my wife's uncle, he bought the Ally and he bought the Legion Go. The guy's a developer, software developer. So mind you, he has the money for it. He didn't buy the Steam Deck, but he bought the Ally and he bought the Go. And he brought him over to my in-laws when there were family events going on, and I was like, what the hell, dude? Like, at first it was the Ally. I'm like, oh, this is pretty neat. It's showing me this pretty cool. Launched Baldur's Gate 3 on there. It ran pretty freaking smooth. And then the day, I think it was like months later, after the Go came out, another family event, I head over, and sure enough, he's there with the Go. And I'm like, the problem was I didn't get a chance to look at it because I was so busy doing stuff that I saw him holding onto it, and I was like, is that a Switch? He goes, no, it's the Lenovo Legion Go. I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't even know they had one that was coming out. This is how much I've been out of touch with like gaming. And so I looked at it just briefly, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But other people on my wife's side of the family, they were kind of tinkering around with it. Nintendo Switch 2 should be Q1 of next year. I don't know if I'm going to get a Nintendo Switch 2. I would love to get all these consoles and just kind of have them for historical purposes. The fact that I own them and that I could just, like, yeah, I got it. But I mean, I've been out of touch. I don't even have like the Wii U. The Ally has build issues besides the micro SD card. Does it? Okay. As mentioned, wait for the second gen handhelds. Specs aside, the Go is actually not bad, but I can see it being tiring. However, I feel like it needs to have a second gen, and I'd get it, like, for sure. Yeah, I think first gen ones are gonna really be the rough drafts of what second and third gens should kind of be ironed out to be, especially second gen. They should really know what problems they had and what they can fix on and what they can pump into that thing. But I don't know. And then watch, the cost of it's gonna go up, obviously. I tend to get games on console before considering PC. I just can't get myself to see PC as a primary platform to play on. I think you have a good point there, especially if a lot of the games come out on console and they're not really set up for PC. I guess it's harder for me to say because it makes sense that all you're doing is just popping a game into a console and then you're just playing it, launching it, no problem, just go at it and have fun. I know PC requires a little bit more finesse to, I mean, granted, like if you just buy one that's pre-built and you're good to go, but I think there's a lot of the troubleshooting, a lot of dealing with the problems and working on, like, what kind of quality is this game supposed to be set in order for it to not crash. Like, that's how I'm thinking it. What are you thinking about for that, Zero? Like, what's your purpose and reason behind it? I feel like let's see here, Legion Go has more versatility out of the gate, but after I saw some of the mods, it's like, yeah, clearly the mods address a few things. First gen are always the gauge interest in whether or not development is worth the cost and time. I think being able to actually have a small computer in your hand and play games off of it is really neat. Be that it provides enough power for you to use it as a handheld. I could see myself sitting alongside my bed and playing games because that's what I would like to use it for. I could also see taking it on the road and having like a power bank to kind of keep it charged and running. Is it more work than it should be? I think so. But that's what you get for having a handheld PC. I mean, your phone is pretty much a handheld PC, but we're talking about playing games, like really nice games, not mobile games. For instance, enough people have already tried swapping the memory to 32 from 16. The Go gains not only a few extra frames, but less crash issues. Okay. Do you have an old school Game Boy from any generation? Play that instead. I miss my GBSP. No idea where it went. I had the original Game Boy. That was when my family lived on the northern side of our town or city, and then we had moved to a different town, and I don't know where it went since then. The casing in the cover in the back to cover the batteries had actually broke, and I was using tape to keep the batteries in, or actually keep the cover on. That's how I would play. I don't know where that went. I don't know where any of that went. It's got to be in stores somewhere with my parents, but I don't know where. Unless they threw it out. It was probably thrown out. It's just easier. I don't have much time and I just want to start up and play instead of having to mess with settings and just hoping it works or is stable. Oh no, yeah. So yeah, I guess I kind of hit it on the dot there. Yeah, I think I agree on that whole idea. Like, you don't have to deal with the problems. It's kind of like the article that I read a few months back where the person said, I bought myself an NVIDIA card to play games with ray tracing, and then I went back to playing with AMD graphics cards because they just didn't want to deal with having to configure the settings to make it look pretty. You're spending more time setting that up than you are playing the game, then why even play the game? You could 3D print a battery cover for it now. Yeah, I could if I could find it. There's also a mod for adding larger M.2 storage that is also more stable by making sure the chip and the board isn't directly on top of each other. They really didn't think those through, did they? I feel like no offense to the Q&A people that are working there, but I wonder if they even went to Q&A. They're just like, let's put it together and we're good to go. Sorry, no extensive testing like the Skyline GTR. Are you telling me you don't run your engine for 100,000 miles or whatever before you say it's good to go? It wasn't 100,000. I forgot what it was. It's an old documentary. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one. New Sims-like game in Zoe reveals a photorealistic take on life sims. It's a power to life as a Unreal Engine 5 power life simulator has been developed by PUBG publisher Krafton. Really? Krafton? They're back at it? Let me go find a different news. PC Games N? Sure. I'm sorry, I'm reading this in my head. When is the Zoe release date? The next gen life sim is the latest in Krafton's stable, and it's got the life sim community all aflutter. While the South Korean company is most known for the likes of PUBG Battlegrounds and Dark and Darker, this time around, it's got a potential successor to the Sims series on its hands. Zoe joins Sims 4 competitors Life by You and Paralives in their effort to unseat EA's genre-defining giant from its throne, though it appears to be striking in a very different direction from its peers. Instead of limitless customization or stylized dream house, Zoe aims to turn heads with photorealistic visuals. A real first for life games. Do we have a Sims rival on our hands? That remains to be seen. For now, here's everything we know about the Zoe release date, including the latest trailers and gameplay footage. What is with these freaking ads? Oh my goodness. Ad. I mean, I get it. You need ads in order to survive. I was just watching a streamer who was actually a game developer. He has his own company. I forgot what it's called. But like, if I'm going to websites and this is all I see is just fucking ads left and right, I don't want to go to these websites anymore. I don't even buy half this shit that pops up, and I wouldn't buy it if it was even remotely interesting for me. I don't look at an ad and buy shit off of it because of the ad. I don't know about you guys, but I don't. I think it's neat to see, oh look, a Chevy Silverado. Oh look, the scare. Like this would be kind of cool because now I can watch it because I have Amazon Prime. Neat. This, I'm not buying a fucking truck. I'm not looking to buy a fucking truck. Why are you telling me that there's a fucking truck for 2.9% APR for 72 months when I'm not planning to buy a fucking truck? God. It's tough for internal QA. You can find most issues but can never uncover as much as you do when it's in the public hands. Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, looking at Q&A in video games, and you can only catch so much, and Zap obviously can echo on that part, but I don't know. Olay, look, I gotta buy this shit because it needs to moisturize my body. It's like TV. They just need to be in your face to get the brand out there. They don't need you to click. Yeah. It's a weird world we live in where ads are just everywhere. It's like you know, Blade Runner and everything else. You're eventually going to be walking around with holograms of like fucking ads all over the damn place. You're going to be hooked up with visual aids that will flash freaking ads in front of you. You look at shit and be like, "Oh, look. I happen to look at this toilet seat and now I'm looking at, you know, I'm looking at a new toilet for me at home from Kohler, whatever." I don't know. I've gotten really good at ignoring those ads, but it's an insane amount of them. Yeah, I pretty much just ignore them too. But when I'm going through this and all I see is just ads, like if I zoom out of the actual article here, let's do this. You got this guy around it. You got this Taco Bell one. You got the okay, these are articles. That's neat. There's an ad here. There's an ad in between. There's ads on the left. There's ads in between again. More ads in between again. It's ridiculous. It was never this bad before. You know who I blame? I blame the people providing the server. That's who I blame. I blame them. Look at this. Is this 100%? Let me just refresh this. I'm refreshing this page. All right. Add. All of the entire page of everything here. The article is here. That's it. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, who would want to read off of one whole page when you can scroll down? I blame Adobe. Ooh, wait. Give me a reason why you blame Adobe. And I'm not saying I defend Adobe. I don't like Adobe in regards to just the way they do things, especially when it comes to the damn support team, which is non-existent. Just keep that in mind. If you ever need to reach out to them for support, go to the community pages and find support there. That's how they do it. What I found interesting, and it really shouldn't be the case, if you got Pi-hole, the sites run so much better, and even if there is an ad, it's still one or two. There was an Adobe ad. You mean you don't blame ifs.ai? 200 billion packages a year are sustainably produced and distributed by the world's leading manufacturer using IFS AI. Wow. Oh, I didn't mean to click on you. No, get away now. Why didn't that pop up? We've been debated. Sanucci is a part of a big ad. He wants us to see all those ads. That's why he's spending so much time here, right? That's basically what I'm doing. I'm just going to every website and I'm making you guys look at those ads so that I can make money off of that. Wouldn't that be a weird scheme? Holy shit. Just imagine if that, like, oh, I'm a streamer and I'm just going on like websites and looking at their stuff, their articles, and talking about it. And it's basically just exploiting the ads that they have there, and I get a percentage of that. Wouldn't that be weird? It's an ad in an ad. I don't know. No. Let's not do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that. Why am I that guy? Why me? I don't want to be like that. So with Pi-hole, you can get Unbound. With Unbound, you get your information more local, so people can't really see where you're going, since you're not really since you're not fully relying on a DNS server hosting for it. Ah, that makes sense. But combine it, that site you went to. Zero. That's why when I upload a video, I only put ads before and after the video. Never understood putting in mid-roll and having them interrupting the content. No, it's just pointless. It's like watching TV all over again. That's not what the internet was for. But you know, people gotta make money. People need to make money in order to provide the service. Again, it's a never-ending circle. It's a brutal circle for sure. Would load in 2 seconds for me, and I mean full load. Yeah, I mean, like the amount of time it took to load that website. Let's see, where'd it go? I think I have a timer here. I had a timer. Do you guys remember when you used to try to make your websites just load as fast as possible? I guess that's not the case anymore now. Like the article pops up, but this ad in the back? Yeah, making money. You guys are checking out the ads for like 5 seconds or so. I mean, like, okay, 5 seconds isn't that long, but for crying out loud, people, really? Like, are they making money off of every time I launch this website? Like, do I just need to help them here? You guys are getting your ads in, right? Are you guys making your money? Are you guys getting your money's worth? Let's just keep refreshing for them. Can they just pay me? Can I just be hired under them and I just kind of like launch their webpage all the time? Just refreshing it? It wasn't. I just kind of like briefly counted. I knew there were other things launching, but I was paying attention to the one in the back to see how fast that was gonna take, because that was the bigger one. But yeah, there's still. Is this part of this whole thing? There's just a whole section just waiting there. Stop seeing this ad. Not interested in this ad. We'll try not to show that ad again, but we'll show you other ads. Yeah, thanks. I don't know how ads on sites work, to be honest. Neither do I, but I feel like every time you go to the page, a new one loads, and then like you make the money off of that. I guess marketing would understand more. Get a quote. Joke's on you, bitch. I already have your insurance. More like jokes on me. Ads. You'll get paid for witnessing the ad. You'll get more pay if someone clicks the ad. You'll get more if someone generally makes a purchase from the site through said ad. Okay. Burp. I've had my fill of ads and I'm gonna call it a night. Sounds good, Kira. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate you guys just hanging out for just a just chatting stream tonight. Oh, okay is right on the ad information. We'll see you Thursday, Care. Example, talk of shoes. The scary thing is whenever we talk about something, that shit pops up as ads. Might be $100 for shoes. Zap is the culprit behind ads. What are you talking about? I'm kidding. The ad might give 50 cents for viewing the ad. I mean, what am I saying? I'm throwing ads at you guys too. Click it would change from 15 to 70 cents. Accidentally clicking on it, right? But here's the thing though. Like, I think I get it. If you throw more ads on a page and you have 15 ads and they're about 15 cents each, you made what, like what, 15 cents? I don't even want to pay attention to the math right now, but here I am doing math in my freaking head. And I'm like, I don't want to do math in my head right now. I'm like, I'm tired. $2.25. So 15 ads for 15 cents each. $2.25 there. Nothing worse than a random bright ad popping up when you have dark mode enabled. Oh god, my eyeballs bleed when that happens. If I had this, if I could just turn off this light, I would too, and just kind of enjoy, you know, streaming in the dark. But why is this one marked on when it's not on? That one's supposed to be, this one's supposed to be off. Oh, damn it. Messed that one up. That's on me. Keep talking, guys. I just gotta fix this light switch thing. It's supposed to be workstation light 2. Wait, hold on. WL1, WL2. I think I got that working. There we go. There we go. Super dark. Okay, going back to reading here. All right. If the person searches around longer on said site, it might become 125 to 70 from 70 cents. Renji, as soon as you have a good night, it's time for me to sleep too. All right, sounds good. Thank you for tuning in, Renji. Have a good night. We'll see you Thursday. All right, take care. I'm here for the ads, Rue. Appreciate you, man. If you legit purchase, they'll keep that 125 but get an additional $10, basically 10% of that shoe. Oh, okay. They will always make more from subscriptions or donations compared to ads, but I'm guessing with the amount of ads they're pushing, they either don't have the options or aren't bringing in enough to justify less. Yeah, and I see why certain like news sites are now charging, you know, a subscription, but I don't know. Like, if you have to pay for news, doesn't that ruin like the whole idea of what like the news is? Like, aren't you supposed to be like fed this information for free? It's why when LTT explained about how the monetization works, they always say they get more per premium subscribed YouTube streamer versus who watches ads. I like how they plug in the ad though, like, or like sponsorships, like this was sponsored by whatever. The way LTT does it is it's unique. I like it. It's different, and it doesn't ruin the whole process of like watching a video and you don't get the ad cut in like what Zero was saying. But I get why some people, why they all do it. I just don't understand why they have to do so much of it. It's like, again, like shit rolls down the hill. this is forcing them to pay this much for them to use their services. They need money to pay for those services to provide the service that you want from them. So they charge you, or they show you ads, and you're stuck watching all these ads because you wanted the service of what they're providing. But they can't provide that service because they don't have the money, because they need to use the ads, because the company above them, or whoever's above them, is charging a buttload of money. Is that how that works? We're just basically fucking, every person that they see walking on the street is just a money sign to them. God, sometimes I think about this world and it just makes me angry and my brain hurts. I don't know. What I do know is that it's almost time for bed, but I will say this though. Try to live life as much as you can to the fullest. Pretty much. And the ad break's kicking in a minute and a half here. Should we just end early because the ads are going to kick in? If the ads are going to kick in, then we might as well just end early. Wait, there's ad in progress. My bad. It's in progress. In progress. I should throw something up on here. It's just like in progress. Ad in progress. Ad is done. Go to bed. Get out of here. Wow, that makes a big difference. Doot. 50 seconds. What's up, Zap? Okay. My Twitch dashboard keeps saying that my bitrate is unstable, but I think it's just wrong in regards to that. I went to the Twitch inspector and everything says it's stable, especially at 6,000. So, don't bother me. It's fine right now. All right. Well, with that said, guys, the ad just ended. There's only 3 minutes left to 1 o'clock. We're gonna end this. Thank you for tuning in, just hanging out. We're just talking. I think it was good to have a conversation with Zap about the beam stuff. Again, I'll have to consider. Oh boy, I need some sleep. I'll have to consider that, just making it probably easier to broadcast in multiple places and whatnot. So my brain is kind of fried right now, just thinking about everything that we just talked about, thinking about everything. There was a lot of stuff that we talked about. I want to come up with like conversations where we're talking about topics that we do want to talk about, like for instance, like video game content, or news about technology. So if you guys are part of my Discord, maybe we'll bring up a topic page where we can discuss certain things, or even in that point we can discuss about it. Or if you guys like talking it on stream, we can do that too. Just try to bring things in here, make it livelier, new. And it may not be me just sitting here watching, looking at you guys and talking. It could be me doing things for content creation. I want to try to start doing a few more things where I was aiming for last year. And I like playing games, don't get me wrong, but I feel like playing games right now is just holding me back on providing better content. Okay, camera, I'm over here. All right. Okay, so that's it for me tonight, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you as always for jumping in, staying here, talking, you know, keeping me company. Even though I do this day in and day out, and not day in and day out, but twice a week, and you know, I don't see progress, and that's okay. Like I said, I do this for a passion and I enjoy it, just sitting here talking to you guys. If we can get more people in here and move in a direction that would be more aggressive, that'd be great. But thanks for that, Zap. All right, as for everybody else who's lurking, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. We'll see you guys Thursday. We'll likely talk about a few other things. I'll fix my Joycon once my stuff comes in, and yeah, you know, maybe do more tech stuff down here, something like that. Have a good night. Take it easy. See you Thursday. If you're not here on Thursday, you know it. Enjoy your weekend. See you next week. Stay safe, stay happy, and as always, keep on gaming on. Good night, guys. Good night, Zap. I'm out of here.